Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome back to another Blue Morning Show on a Chelsea Perspective. I hope you're all doing well, and I really do mean that. Today we have quite a lot of random topics to talk about, and if you're in the chat and you bring up anything that you've come across that the panelists have, we will try the best we can to sort it out. So again, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome to another Blue Money Show. I hope you're all doing well. Sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. But more importantly, blue morning to you, because in fact, it is the Blue Morning Show. I hope you're all doing well. Please do accept whatever suits your time zone. As you can see on the screen, we want to talk about that man, Trevor Chalobah. Some rumors out there, but we don't know whether it's true or not. But we will talk about it, whether it makes sense for him to leave or stay at the club. Again, we will address all those. So let me see what we have in the chat already. This is Matt saying a link. Okay, I've sent you the link. If you have time, please do join in. I appreciate you finding time to do so. Blue morning, Kachila panel and chat. Blue morning to you too. Liam Lane, I hope you're doing well. Again, morning, Kachila panel and chat. Says Santiago Muno. Santiago, I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you here, brother. Thank you for finding time to join. Again, Jafta Sikwa from Botswana. I didn't know you were from Botswana. Nice to see my African brother. I hope you're doing well. This is again a blue family. Again, I miss our games already. Again, a good delay for Porter though. Chukwuemeka might be his super kid if we, again, if we're to go by the rumors. Again, if you're good, you're good. Your age don't really matter. Again, after all, we played Brighton in a game where we were told, again, both teams had a mixture of youth and experienced players. And yeah, we won 2-1, and Chukwuemeka scored the two goals, which is also, again, for him to have gotten the two goals in a game where Loftus-Cheek played, who else? I don't remember all other players that they said played on that day. Means he played in an advanced role. He played closer to the final third. Again, that is good to see. There's a bit of misconception, if you prefer, if you like, people thinking he's going to be, a sitting six and all that, talking about Kante again. But I think, if anything, he's a hybrid. If anything close to that, he's a hybrid of 6 and 8, which means he'll be capable of fulfilling the Kovacic role. So yeah, again, Abisha Moha says, good morning, coach. Good morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you here. It's been a while. Please do let me know how you're doing. Again, let's see what else we have in the chat again. I'm going to do this while I wait. If any panelist joins me, that will be brilliant. If not, we'll roll solo, and believe me, it'll still be a brilliant show overall. And Liam Lane says, please like and subscribe when you enter. If you have not, as it helps the channel reach a wider audience. Yes, people, keep liking the video. We have just 10 likes now. Again, after the transfer window, we've not been able to reach 100 likes since then. The closest was 98, was it? Yeah, I think 98. So let's try and see again. You, as you're coming in, like the video. Even if you're watching and you're not in the chart, take a second to like the video. Again, let's see where we and help us get to 100 likes by the time we get 1 hour mark into the show. I think there was an interview. Koulibaly again. He did an exclusive. I don't know with what outlet exactly, but bits and bits of it again are quite interesting. Yeah, he says the signing with Chelsea was a very good thing for me. I am very happy to be here, to be there. Again, it was a bit tough at first because I had to move 8 years of my life to London. It's something that's quite hard. Again, moving isn't easy for anybody. Even if you're not a player, moving isn't simple. Again, it's a life, you could say a life-changing event. So I understand, but I still, as most people think, that again, he struggled to cope with the pace. Again, you could say pace and physicality, pace overall of the Premier League. I think otherwise. I think the issue is just the lack of proper chemistry in the back line that exposed that back line. And then it seemed as if he hasn't again. He's not been able to cope with the Premier League. I don't think that's the case. Yeah, again, so that's a good one there. And for this one, let me cancel out anyone I read already. Koulibaly, he says the new coach came in with some good ideas. He's a real coach. He did some good things with Brighton. Now he is a Chelsea manager. He has guidelines. It's up to me to be patient and to show that I deserve to play. To show in training that the coach can trust me. That's good to see again. This simply shows he's not one of those. Even again, some players after being dropped in that game against Salzburg, will be bent out of shape by now. Start complaining. We'll be hearing some stuff out there. Or maybe let me just say, write a book and start pointing finger already. But again, he understands that's how football works. A new manager comes in again, and he's an intelligent guy. I think in the subsequent comments, he mentioned how the manager, he prefers to start players who's played in the league for a while, which makes it easy for the manager and the team also. Again, which means he accepts to a certain measure. Yet the manager would most likely again go for players who's played in the league for a while. So again, it's the guy's an intelligent guy. As much as off the pitch, he still applies intelligence to the way he speaks, which is good. He says here he says there will be no problem. We are also in the first week. That's probably asked the question how he feels about being dropped, or that does he think he has a chance on the ground, Potter? But I don't want to misquote him. But let's just read what we have here from my friend Vince. There will be no problem. We are also in the first week. It is normal. Excuse me. It is normal for the coach to rely on players who are used to the emblem of Chelsea and who have been there for a very long time. When I will be 100%, there will be no problem. I will play again. So again, there you go. You can see confidence. He understands. Again, the manager will rely mostly on those. Yes, let's see it that way. He still struggles a bit with the pace of the Premier League and all that. And then he understands that the manager will, rely mostly on the experienced players in terms of when you're saying things from the perspective of the Premier League, players who's played in the league for a long time, players who's played for Chelsea for a while now. Again, like you said, when he is 100%, there will be no problem. He gets to play, and his confidence in his with his abilities. Yeah, again, here we have again, if Eden hasn't returned to Chelsea, it would be again a backward step for him, but it would be good for you. You must be Philip. Why are you sounding like you're not a Chelsea fan? Let me know if you're not. But that's by the way, I get your argument there. I think it will be again Chelsea. I think I don't see it that way, but I get your point anyway. For me, Koulibaly has just to get used to the pace of the Premier League, and in a while he will be fine. And again, I'm going to say this: in that game, we think people are complaining, thinking he not really complaining, thinking he's off the mark in terms of adapting to the Premier League. I still think it's lack of proper chemistry between the back line due to the changes we've made there, not really because of the pace of the Premier League. But that's, by the way, again, bro, how are you doing? It's been a while. Is everything all right with you?
Yeah, big up, coach. Big up.
Big up to you too, bro.
Yeah, I lost my voice last week, and then football's been over, so I was like, I'll take a break from it. But it's coming back. I think today is the entertainment football match. That there's a charity football match on today with some YouTubers and stuff. So that'll be fun to watch. But it's gonna be a
Oh,
week.
YouTubers are playing a charity football match.
Yeah, like the KSI and the Sidemen, and then there's like I Show Speed and all these other guys. They're all going to be playing a full match just for charity at Southampton's pitch today.
Hmm.
So I'm
Hmm.
looking forward to some football. Some just entertaining football until next week, Chelsea return. But I think I've been out of the loop a bit this week or last week, the last 2 weeks actually with football news because I just haven't really had the urge to kind of get onto it and start talking about it. I just don't think after even probably after just the Tuchel sacking, just for me, I don't know, Chelsea just seem to go backwards, and I'm hoping once we get back into continuous football, we can go forward again because right now we'll be going backwards.
No, I think we will go forward. And again, like somebody in the chat already said, the international break gives Graham Potter a lot more time to work what he has again and try to get them to understand how he wants the game approach. I think we'll be good. Yeah, it wasn't easy. Again, it took me days to forget about him. Yeah, I tried to be as objective as possible. I to just focus on supporting Graham Potter, but still, it was painful because it just didn't make sense. But we move, and I think he's probably he's going to get another job, another big job too. Again, it was painful to also see that it pained him too. I've read that one there, and Bobby says, "Big up everyone! Smash the like button, people. We have just 12 likes right now. Come on, people, keep liking the video. The likes do go a long way." And Henry again, until he says, "A nice place." Then Hazard comes back to work at Chelsea. He's not back yet, but again, we'll analyze the situation. But Matt, what do you think again about Koulibaly's coming here? He's not. Whining. He understands the situation quite well. I think he's an intelligent individual, not just on the pitch and off the pitch too. Do you want me to read it for you, or can you see the comment?
No, yeah, I can see it now. I think Koulibaly will be no problem. We are in the first weeks. I think the thing with Koulibaly is, for me, I think he's done very well. I think people will come here and they'll sit here and they'll go, he's done. He hasn't shaped his form in the Premier League, but I think what he's done is quite just average. I think he's came in, he's found his sense of establishment at the club and the team, and he's
Hmm.
fitting well. Hasn't done extraordinarily good, and I don't think he's done extraordinarily bad. I think he's been very very average for a player coming in. I think he will thrive. I think I back in the window. I was all for either Delict or Koulibaly. I said both of them will definitely fix our problems. I think Koulibaly will fix our problems in imminent effect, and I stand by that because I do think he will fix our problems within the next couple of weeks. I think he's a player who was supposed to is supposed to be replacing Thiago Silva. We've given him the contract where we don't really want to make a profit off him. We want to make a
Hmm.
profit off his age and just try to keep him as long as we can. What does it add on here? It says not for the coaches to rely on the players when we use who has been there for a long time. When I will be at 100%, there'll be no problem. I will play again, and I think he's even maybe acknowledged the fact that he hasn't had the best start, but
But it
that's what you
wasn't.
want some
It
young players.
wasn't bad.
Yeah, exactly. I think for his standards, maybe people thought it wasn't the best, maybe because players like Martinez and Saliba were playing so well that maybe he got overlooked. But as a Chelsea fan who watched him every week, I think he was quite good. I think he's been, as I said, not extraordinarily over the top, but I think he's been, a very, very good, to say the least. And I think this is the start. He's going to be improving for sure. He's a player who runs off experience. These players is what I've been begging for since the Lampard season. I've been begging for experienced players. Someone like Cucurella, someone like Sterling, Koulibaly, and we've got those players. And look how they've affected our squad. They've came in and showed effect as soon as possible. They've done it quickly. We don't have to wait time like Kai Havertz, all these guys. They're still getting into the season, into the team.
Hmm.
None of that. These guys are coming in strong, and I think they're going to improve. And definitely Koulibaly is a very very important player for us this season, 100% for sure.
Just quickly, I want to get some your thoughts on this. Um, when we still haven't finished that lineup. I just don't feel like doing it today. I think we'll continue with it. The 4-3 formation, even four at the back formation. I put out a poll, asked some people again whether the combo, that is the two center backs, it would be Koulibaly, Silva, or either of the two players with Fofana. Surprisingly, people picked Koulibaly, Silva to start. What do you think about that?
I think people will just go off most experience. Now, I've said Thiago Silva for me is not going to be a starter. He never was. He's not. He's going to be a rotational player, and I hope we get him as a rotational player because we want to get the best out of our signings we've got. right? Koulibaly, Fofana. We want these players to come in and play so well that we can have the leverage to rest Thiago Silva at times. This guy should only be playing at the best of the best games. If we play him in a game like Brighton, that's that's not what we want. That means we failed. Giving Thiago Silva the biggest rest we can is the biggest success we will have from our centre backs. And people, I think for me, the best pairing are Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. However, that's not realistic because we cannot play a player like Thiago Silva every single game. If we do go to a back four, it would be Fofana and Koulibaly. I think both players who can fairly well play in a back four. Thiago Silva, I think a lot of our fans forget that a back four is not that hard to play with. I think these defenders have grown up to be playing in a back four. These defenders can do it. Fofana's a guy who can play in a back four. It's no problem. Koulibaly, this guy's 34. He's been playing in a back four all his life. There's no stress as to playing in a back four. So we shouldn't have any worry on who we play.
I think where the problem comes in the back four, you could say the application. Under Graham Potter, I think the back four, the two centre backs will be doing a lot of work because the full backs, they're always bumping forward. So again, under Graham Potter, his approach, I don't think it'd be that simple. But I get your point, though. For me, again, I'd say either of the two senior players, either of the two generous, maybe if you prefer, with Fofana because balance is key. Again, I know Koulibaly can still run, and he's got a very good acceleration. But I think it will make sense to balance it, either him or Silva paired with Fofana. Again, plus I don't see that the pairing of Thiago Silva and Koulibaly happening because if we're playing if we're going to be playing predominantly with a three at the back formation. Again, which is very certain because Potter did that at Brighton predominantly, which means Koulibaly, I think, will play a lot of games. Like he mentioned, I think the manager just maybe picked the Cucurella because he knows him and he's been in the Premier League. He's played in the Premier League longer than Koulibaly did. I think when things, when by the time he trains with them further, I think Cucurella will most likely that's a chance he moves further forward, like in the wing back position. Koulibaly keeps playing in the left centre back position. I don't know, but again, your thoughts matter before we get what we have in the chat. Or if you don't have anything to add to that, I can just go ahead.
No, I'll say Koulibaly 100%. He was brought in to be our star. This guy's going to be the new main man, and even Cucurella as well. I think obviously that first game was just an exception. We're never going to see Azpilicueta. I hope never see Azpilicueta again as a centre back, and definitely with Cucurella is a player that Graham Potter will like for sure. But Koulibaly is our main man at centre back for sure.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen flashes of what he's capable of doing. The passes with left, with right. Again, the shooting. Again, maybe again he was way too adventurous because he's been caught. Found wanted on two occasions. He had to pull the shirt twice and got a card, and the other one back. I think he'd be fine. He will. By the time they have a better chemistry, again, you wouldn't even know that he hasn't played that much in the Premier League because he's a very intelligent player. Now, Gunplay, it's been a while, brother. Let me know how you're doing. I hope you're doing well. Again, in Syria, you think then you run in the Premier League, you run as you think. Koulibaly just needs a time. And I loved, again, TT, but it's time to move on. TT lost at the dressing room. And we were playing again off our guys. Again, I like I said, I've moved on. I have to again. I have to say that I've moved on again. But it wasn't easy for me. And even before we had Potter, on occasions on the Blue Money Show, I've said whenever we talk about him, I usually go my manager because I like him. I think he's the right appointment. We'll move on. We'll support the new manager. It's as simple as that. I'm not gonna kill myself because the club fired Thomas Tuchel. I will still follow Team C coach because I followed him from his days at Mainz. Good afternoon, Chelsea family. Hope you're doing well. Again, Giovanni Jafta, I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you. And here, Henry and Tui, please, again, you won Hazard back at Chelsea. We'll talk about that in a bit, why we think it's possible and why why it may well not be possible. I don't feel Hazard again anymore. He isn't the same player since he left Chelsea back then. Again, he is again his job at Chelsea. Yes, again, he did his job at Chelsea, but Chelsea need future stars, young players. Don't be surprised if it happens. Actually, I'm not writing that off, but I get your opinion. I totally understand where you're coming from. Funny, we were able to defend a set piece versus Salzburg easily with Aspie and Silva as our centre backs, and as surprisingly shorter team than against Salzburg. Excited for Portable. Excited for Portable, though even Jorginho bowled that night. Yeah, I don't want to get into the Jorginho argument again. He did well against England. Everybody
Oh
saw
yeah, for
that.
sure.
Yeah, I
He
think you could
shut
say he
Declan Rice
lectured
up.
them. Yep, he lectured him.
You know,
Um,
never. I'll say this. I'll say this. Just never in my life as supporting football, I've seen such a fan base love a player who doesn't wear our badge and then discredit the player who does. Never in my life have I seen so much people love Declan Rice when the guy doesn't play at our club and then hate our own player like Jorginho. I've never seen it, and that's why I really
yeah,
love Jorginho. You know, because these fans are honestly horrendous. I've never seen in my life ever.
you could actually say Jorginho is the player that divides opinion the most at Chelsea. He
Yeah, I
is.
think it's good to have like a division of him, but you have disagreeing with him and then going to support Declan Rice and hyping up Declan Rice when he plays for West Ham. It's just honestly, it's just embarrassing to be as a Chelsea fan to see your fans love another guy who doesn't even wear our badge. That's why I love Jorginho so much because he wears our badge, he plays for the badge, and as it last night, he shut all the haters up once again.
The club made us some interesting point yesterday again, and I haven't done that. Again, the argument was, how Jorginho makes mistakes, makes one mistake, they judge him for that mistake for the next 5 million years. I think he was talking about the ratio of the mistake he's made to how many passes he's made a total at Chelsea or in a game. I think if you again you see again, it's not good enough to start calling him names or judge him. But unfortunately, I think we're not looking at the numbers. We're not just looking at single mistakes here and there every now and then. But I think he should, at the same time, I do think he should move on. I think on occasions, even though I like him as a player, when opposition teams have targeted him, it seemed to have worked for them. But whenever there's space, again, he puts in a brilliant shift every now and then. And in some cases too, even when oppositions are pressing aggressively, you see the best out of Jorginho too. He beat the press and all that, and still do well. But it's looking like I don't see him extending his stay at Chelsea Football Club. Plus, we heard rumors that he's offered his services to Barcelona, but they don't want him, given that that's a chance Busquets leaves. But we'll see what happens. Again, Gunplay says if we play Zakaria and Jorginho, that's a tasty combination right there. Um, Zakaria and Jorginho.
That
I'd
was
like.
sixes. I don't think it will work. Only if we play maybe a back three, and maybe if Zakaria is having the role to press up a bit, it could work. But it's not going
Mhm.
to be used every week because they're both sixes. If he plays a four, again, maybe if we play a 4-4-2 or like 4-2, whatever, you play two CDMs, maybe it can work. But I think if Zakaria has if Zakaria has the qualities to push up a bit more, I think it can work. But on paper, at the moment, it's not working. But we'll see
Yeah,
what Potter does.
it's not that simple. Yeah. Plus, I don't think Graham Potter will play again. Structure wise, it will look as if he's playing two sixes, but usually I don't think he plays with two sixes. But we'll see what he does. There's still enough time. Would you take Eden Hazard back at Chelsea again in 2023 if he was available? Again, taking his age and injury record into consideration. I think he's been injury free for a while now. Your thoughts again, Matt. What do you want? Do you want Chelsea to get him back, or do you want you don't want him to come back to Chelsea? Whatever your choice is, tell us why.
I actually remember we had this conversation, I think 6 months ago, me and you, and we were discussing how should Eden Hazard come back. And I said no because I said that, we're not in 2019. The guy decided to leave us on his own terms. I don't think we should go back for him when he's at his worst. I think there were better options to go for him. We had Ousmane Dembele, we had Rafinha, we had Leao, we had better prospects, and I don't think we should ever go back to the past. And I would still stand by. I still wouldn't take him. I think the guy's an absolute legend to us. He's one of the best attackers we've ever had. But I wouldn't go for him when he's been at his worst. He has to prove to me why he still wants to come back. Yeah, he had it all, but we just did that to Lukaku. We brought Lukaku back because he had a bit of a great spell at his club where he was, and he was an old Chelsea player. I wouldn't do the same for Eden Hazard. I don't think he is at that level again. I don't think he would actually ever get back to that level. I think it's too late for him. Madrid. He's had so many years. He's just injury prone now, and there's just other options I would go for. So I don't think I would go for him. I don't think he's the best option to go for now. Definitely not.
As much as I understand your argument, let's talk about a bit again. Why we think again he hasn't worked for Madrid. I think it's the handling. They signed him. What's the term they use when they sign big name players? As a galactical, and at that point, I think he wasn't treated as one. Again, Eden Hazard. I think if you ask me, I'd say at the moment they signed him, treat him as a galactical. That they signed him, how much they paid. For instance, he came in. Again, even the most senior player in the team, they were a bit too selfish, if you ask me. Had Ramos then said, "Okay, let me give you the penalty to help you you be the one to take the penalties for us, just to help you get started." But I think there were other issues then. He came in and probably started earning more money than most of the senior players then. So Ramos himself didn't relinquish that responsibility of being the guy to take the penalties because he's already rebelling regarding new salaries. They didn't want to offer him new salary and all that. I think his arrival wasn't handled properly. Had they handled it properly, he'd still be fighting also in this. Yes, he had injuries, but even when he's fit, I think that's the way they treated him like he's not important to them. I don't know if you get my point, Matt.
No, I do, and I think I think we should be getting out of this dreamland and wake up to reality and go like, yeah, the guy's never gonna become good again. Like definitely at the level he was at Chelsea. So
have you watched him of late?
Well, in the last 3 games, again, form is temporary, class is permanent, right? I don't disagree with that. But when will he ever get back to that class like he will at Chelsea? He will never get back to it. He will never, ever, ever get back to it. It's too late.
I think he will. I think
How
he
old is he
will.
now? 31? Is he 31?
Yeah, I think around that number. Let me check. But I think he will. All he needs is just give him that responsibility. Make him feel important.
He's going to be 32 next year, right? He's going to be 32 next year.
It doesn't matter. Modric is 34.
Yeah, but Modric is, he has like fine wine. This guy hasn't played in 4 years. Like I said, I'm not going to discredit the guy. I hope the guy comes back and does well. We all love it. I hope he does well. But I hope he does well at Real Madrid, right? I hope he does. We don't buy because buying him again, coming with the price tag, we have to probably pay 65 million. It's a risk. It's a massive, massive risk. And if he never played for Chelsea, we would not be going for this guy. We wouldn't be going for him. We can look at Willian. I think Willian's like 33 now, right? Let me double check. Let me double check if I'm correct. Willian, he's 34. Right, Willian was 34. We sold him when he was 30, right? And I'm not comparing the players, but I'm comparing the age, right? If he's getting injured when he's 28, 29, imagine how old he's going to get and how many more injuries he's going to have. I don't want to risk that. If he had some good performances in the last year, last 2 years, we would consider it. But the guy hasn't had a consistent run of games since 2019. That's a player. I'm sorry, I don't want at the club.
Which you could also argue wasn't entirely his fault. Again,
100%, it's not his fault. Like it's not his fault.
Yeah, the manager preferred all the players
because the other players had a consistent value. Like it's like having, we look at. I don't know. I don't want to compare, but if other players like he had like Vinicius, there was Valverde, there's all these other guys, right? If they were just showing consistency, they would start over Hazard because Hazard will come in, you have a couple games, he'll get injured. Right, he'll get back fit, get injured. Like it's just the same. It's just the same circle. Right now, he's had a couple against Belgium. He played fantastically about 2 months ago. But coming in January, would I go and say yes? I want Eden Hazard. Absolutely not. Absolutely, I don't want that injury crisis at Chelsea. I think we had that last season, and we were all staying. We were all like, let's not go for injury-prone players. but then people would turn around and go, "Oh, I don't want injury-prone players, but I want Eden Hazard." That's just a relationship we have with Eden Hazard. We love him too much, and we're just gonna get out of this dream world, and we're gonna wake up. We're gonna realize this guy cannot play for us ever again, and he won't play. He won't play at at the same level he will be ever again. It's just not gonna happen. Maybe at Madrid. I hope he does that at Madrid. I hope he kills it. Same with Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is a rubbish player for us, but I hope Kai Havertz goes to Real Madrid and bangs it out there. I would rather him do well at a club that he's at now than take the risk to bring him here and then he just fails. I'd rather him, honestly speaking, I'd rather him fail at Real Madrid than fail at Chelsea. But as a player, I want him to succeed.
Before I go to the chat, here's something else we haven't talked about. There's actually a chance. I don't know if the add-ons that has helped us make quite a lot of money from his stay at Real Madrid. I don't know if it has an expiry date. I don't know if it exists as long as he still plays. If it still exists, there's a chance the club may actually look at it. I think we're better off him staying there. So he wins stuff, we just earn a couple of millions every time he wins something, which Madrid is capable of winning. I don't know your thoughts on that from that perspective, Matt. Okay, I'm going to try and catch up with the chat. Let me know when you're back again. Here we have Jorginho go.
Sorry.
Get that. I was saying.
Did you say it again? Sorry.
Again, we've made quite a lot of money for stuff he's won at Madrid, even when he's not playing. And again, I say just a disclaimer that I don't know if that has an expiry date, or if it exists as long as he still plays for Real Madrid and they haven't sold him and all that. Again, I'm just saying, do you think there's a chance the club will look at it and say, actually, we're making a lot of money for him staying there, whether he's playing or not? Every time they win something, we get a couple of millions from that. I think we're better off leaving him there than bringing him back. Your thoughts?
Oh yeah, 100%. That we're looking at that, very, very closely. And I'm looking at his contract now. It doesn't end till 2024, so we have technically 2 more years of this. And the club would definitely want to take money off it because we just got 10 million for them winning just the Champions League the other week. So
yeah, they would want some millions also for the league.
And yeah, I think we get 8 million when they win the league, 12 million when they win the UCL. It's something like that. I don't know the exact number, but it's millions. It's big money. And they would rather have that there than, as I said, buy him for 60 mil, put him on 250K a week. And you never know what could happen with the guy. As I said, I don't think the guy succeeds. I would rather him fail at Real Madrid than him fail at Chelsea. The guy left on his own will. That's the consequences he made. We can't just turn around. You can't go back to your ex. You can't go back to it. We have to move on. We have to go for another guy. I don't know. Look at the attackers we have now. Like if you look at these attackers, Mason Mount, Pulisic, and we got rubbish there. I don't want to go buy more rubbish. I want to go buy players who have a potential. Eden Hazard doesn't have that anymore. He's not that guy anymore.
If you're in the chat, I'm sure you heard everything Matt said. Let me know your opinion, what you thought about the Eden Hazard situation. I think the talks of the possibility of him coming back to Chelsea is getting louder and louder. So if you're in the chat, I want to know your thoughts. Liam Lane says, I cannot see, Rice. I cannot see in Rice what some people rave about outside of, covering all the pitch with his running. He isn't, what half the money they put for him. As much as I think he's a good player, I've always argued that I'm not sure he's Thomas Tuchel's kind of player. We don't have Tuchel anymore, and I still argue the same for Graham Potter. But if he comes to Chelsea, I will support him. I have to say that it's not that I hate him. I don't know. The rumors then was that Thomas Tuchel loves him, and for me, I think those were all just rumors, speculation, all nonsense. If you prefer,
Tuchel never wanted him. Tuchel never wanted Declan Rice ever.
Yeah, people just make up nonsense as they go, saying he wanted them. And all that again. And the other rumor is that. People saying that he says he wants to come back to Chelsea. Yeah, if he wants to come back to Chelsea, even if Chelsea decides, okay, let's bring him back. I think they'd wait. They say, if you want to come back to Chelsea, we're not going to pay that much money. Again, put a transfer request in or just run down your contract and come back. Again, it's a whole lot of nonsense. Some of the story had it that he was the reason why Frank Lampard was fired. Now, he was pushing for the club to get him, and the hierarchy didn't like that. They wanted him, he didn't listen. there's some nonsense out there. But that's, by the way, again, I don't know what people see there, but we move again. We all see things from different lenses. There are players, when you look at them, you say, what the heck? Why is this guy playing football? And some other player, some other individual will come around and say, wow, this guy is the best player in the world. It is like that. Jorginho is a deep lying playmaker. Or again, Jorginho is traditionally a register, but lacks of physicality a bit. Not a bit. He lacks of physicality quite a lot. I have to tell you that. Again, Zakaria, physically a bit. Zakaria might protect him just like how, again, Barilla, Verratti, N'Golo Kante, how they've protected him. Again, in Italy. Again, like you say, again, I recognize that when we had that argument or that discussion a few days ago, I recognize again, there's a chance Potter, if he really wants him, like we've heard, he said that Jorginho would be very pivotal to, his team, his Chelsea team. If that's the case, that's the way he'd structured the team. You wouldn't even, there's a sense that Jorginho lacks, again, in the physical aspect of the game. Sarri did it. Under Sarri, we didn't know Jorginho had that issue until Sarri left at Chelsea. That's when all the managers tried to approach the game differently. That's when his deficiencies were highlighted clearly for everyone to see. But that's why, again, here we have a 4-5 iCloud, work with Jorginho and Zakaria with attacking midfield. I could 4-5-1 could, so to speak. Now I get what you wrote there. Again, Jeff 5 again schooled Rice yesterday. Yeah, you should see Twitter talking about it. Again, let me see what else do we have here. How Hazard left, it hurts us. We moved on. I love him still. Again, but no, I would prefer we break the bank on again on Bellingham, Leao, and maybe Nkunku. Hazard is past his best. Can Hazard really regain his form? I think he can. But again, I get your own opinion.
Not to the Chelsea level, coach. Not to the Chelsea level, ever. He will never get back to that Chelsea level.
Okay. All right, guys. Since you're coming in, go ahead.
Though, coach. I just want to know what tells you he will come back to that form, and will he do it at Chelsea? I'll say no to both of those answers.
Yeah. Again, Matt has shared the link to his channel. Let's try and help him get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. He deserves that after all the hard work he's put in, plus good content too. Again, he keeps it raw. It doesn't, paint it. He says it as it is. Again, if you haven't, see the link to his channel, go subscribe, and let's help him get to 100 subscribers as soon as possible. And if you're watching, please do take a second to like the video. We'll have just 20 likes. We can do better than that. Keep liking the video, people. Here again, Hazard left us for his dream club. Sad part, dream can turn into nightmares. That's a delicious comment right there, and I like it. That's the truth. But again, I wanted him to do well. And remember, if he does well, we get more money from Real Madrid. I'd rather keep a Captain America than going for Hazard again. That's your argument. And Nkunku and Hazard, come to Chelsea, please. I miss you, Hazard. Please, okay, come back. The officer. Okay, I understand. Really, I do understand. Hazard should stay where he is. I would rather spend our money on younger players for the future. Yep. Again, as for me, I'd really want him to come back, but I understand where you guys are coming from, and it does make sense. Even like Modric and Silva are wines. They become great with age and experience. They're simply world class, and he will improve us again on the field and outside. We need him to guide this fragile Eagles. Again, it remains to see what the new owners want, what they want to do. I think before the owners, let's be honest here. Before the new owners, Todd Boehly and co, before they even start looking at Havertz, he has to put in that's a prolonged, or let's say a consistent performance for a stretch of time for them to say, okay, this guy, let's go kill him, and that hasn't happened for a while. So I truly understand where Matt's argument was coming from. We want again Ismail from AC Milan. Chivon Iguodalo, again, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding the time to join the show. If you haven't, people, like the video, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Roger, how are you doing?
Good morning or good afternoon, chaps. How are you?
Good morning to me. Still, I know it's afternoon already for you, or
Well,
just us.
technically,
Yeah,
not quite, but yeah.
yeah. Again, I hope you're well, brother. And I don't know if
I
you've
am,
met
thank
Matt.
you. No,
Yeah,
I
have
don't
you met?
believe I have. How do you do, Matt?
Okay, you have to check out his channel. Some awesome
Yeah.
content there too. But let's bring you straight into the fight if you if you want.
Sure.
Your thoughts, because the talks. It's again the club. We haven't heard that the club are interested in bringing him back. This is just people calling for the club to go get him, or for him to come back to Chelsea. Again, they reading too much. You can argue they're reading too much into his recent interview. But if you were for you, what would you do and why? If it were up to you.
Okay, so Matt has no, sure. If it was up to me, there'd be no Jorginho, that's for sure. No,
No, we're talking
for me,
about Hazard
Matt
now.
has some valid point. I know. No, I know. I was just being facetious.
Okay. You're just referencing the Jorginho case.
Yes, exactly. So for me, Matt has some valid points. However, I can say conversely, we don't know. I was wrong about Silva. I thought he was over the hill, and he's proved me wrong. I know they play completely different positions, and they have completely different prerequisites in that context. So I understand what Matt's saying. However, he is historically, when I say he, I should say Hazard, historically has never been quote unquote gym rat. In fact, I saw an interview where they had an interview in the gym. I think it was Chelsea TV at the time, and one of his teammates sarcastically said, "By the way, this is where the gym is." He was never a gym rat, and he was teased on that consistently. And he arrived in Real Madrid and he was overweight, out of shape. And as you and I both know, that when you pass your 20s, especially in this sport, you go downhill fast. Your peak is, depending on your position, is late 20s to mid 20s sometimes. And so your body adjusts, like for an injury, especially. I remember when I was a teenager, I sprained my ankle where I took off my basketball shoe and my ankle ballooned to the size of my knee. It took me 3 weeks to recover. But in my 40s, when I did a minor injury, it took me the same time for a minor injury to recover as opposed to a major. So I understand that. But the good news is, where I think Matt maybe hasn't recognized this, is they've removed the titanium plates in his ankle or ankles. I've seen, whether it was ESPN FC or another show, where they mentioned ankles as in plural. So I don't know whether it's one or two ankles. So I don't want to be factually incorrect on that. So that's a major issue. And he looks ripped now. If you've seen the pictures of him, he looks absolutely in shape. So he's on a mission per se. Matt says he would never return to his previous Chelsea form. I think there's a good chance he won't. I totally agree, but there's a small chance he may. It's pure speculation, and to say that outright, I think that there's no factual basis to that. Because you look at Silva. Silva is still a Rolls Royce in his position. I would say the chances are small to minimal, but I think there's still a chance. And even right now, if he returns to his best form currently based on his age, he still may be better than anyone we have, potentially. Because let's face it, he is one of the greatest players to ever play for Chelsea. Take the badge off. Let's say he played for, and I bite my tongue here, for Tottenham or Man U, etc., and he was that great of a player. I would say objectively the same thing, because he is one of the greatest players I've ever seen. And the only difference that has put him not in the category of Ronaldo or a Messi is because you can see in his lackadaisical approach when he's on the training ground. He's a little child, he's a little kid. And I say that in the nicest possible way, where you could tell he'd be doing this for free. He loves the game, and he's never had that winning mentality. Like you look at Ronaldo, you can tell whether he's playing dominoes or whatever it is, he wants to win. I get the impression Hazard is very laid back and very California-esque in that regard. He's like, it's okay. You know, I don't think he has that killer instinct per se, and I'm not sure whether he's maybe, shall we say, looked back the last couple of years based on injuries and saying, I have an infinite amount of time left and I want to make the best of it. And I think maybe his attitude has changed based on him realizing that your body is your office, so to speak, that old adage. And I think that's where his mentality may have changed. At least I hope it does anyway. And this is pure speculation on my part. Matt could be 101% absolutely correct. He has some valid points. But conversely speaking, I still think that he has the potential, and a good potential, to be A, better than anyone we have, and B, a small chance of being the great player that he was before. I think those two things go hand in hand in some regards.
Matt, you want to say anything to that, or you good?
Yeah, comparing Hazard to our players now is like, any attacker at Chelsea Football Club, bar Sterling, are horrendous. They're rubbish. They're garbage. We can bring in Hazard, and he may do better than them.
Is that the fault?
Bar is so low. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, no. Yes, checkmate. Yes, I'm not arguing that. I'm saying no, but you think that's because of the system? Like, if you bring in most quote unquote very good to great players into our system the last year and a half, I think they would have struggled. A good example is Sterling. He hasn't made, for the most part, he has occasionally made some very intelligent runs, which I really like about him. I look at other players on our team and they just don't make those runs that you see on City. I watch probably 95 to 100% of City's games. I'm recovering from surgery, so I'm afforded that time, to the luxury, so to speak, to view a lot of the games on demand, especially. And I just look at those players like a Liverpool or a City, for instance, and they're very fluid. That they make beautiful runs. And by the way, when they're making those runs, they're rewarded with a pass, whether it's successful or not. But you look, for the most part, with Chelsea, that doesn't transpire. So I think you can get some great players for City that would come to us, and I think they would struggle. And I'm not sure why that's been the case. Maybe it's because our coaches are too defensive. I have no idea as to why that has transpired.
I don't think it was the system. I think it's just genuinely the players. I've said I think players like Kai Havertz is like, obviously these guys are
you
professional
don't rate
footballers.
him, do you?
No, I don't rate any of our attackers but Raheem Sterling right now, because I think they've all been given opportunity. They've all been given the same amount of opportunity, but a lot of them, like, I look at Ziyech. I know Ziyech is a fantastic footballer, but he's not fit for the Premier League. It's too fast paced. He's too predictable.
I concur.
He needs to get to a level down. We've got players like Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz doesn't know what position he can play in. But so why would I put him in my team if he doesn't know what position he's the best?
Is that his fault?
Or, I mean, we brought him as a cam. We played him as a cam. I think, hopefully he can get a bit better. I want all his players to do better. But at the moment, I can't sit here and say these guys are professional attackers for our club. That's what I'm saying. The question was, if we bring Eden Hazard to the club, yeah, he'll be better than all our players. But all our players are rubbish, because I look at our system and I look at what Raheem Sterling's done this season. Raheem Sterling scored all our goals this season, and that shows that our attack was the problem. And the creating chance we get are from our wing backs. Kai Havertz, when he gets his opportunities, he doesn't finalize on it. Like Jorginho gave him a fantastic pass 2 weeks ago. Kai Havertz does not put it at the back of the net. We've got players who I think are capable of playing football, but they need a massive system to overturn to play to their style. We've got players like Sterling who can play in any system that's possible. And that's what I want. I want more players who are more intelligently can play football, not that system, this, that. Versatile. I agree. Yeah, versatile. And I think Havertz can be versatile, but I don't want to change my whole system to fit Kai Havertz. And the point goes back to, I think it's the players. I think they've all had a great system to play against. Kai Havertz, you see when he gets the ball, the guy can't finish. And Mount's a player that, again, people say is a midfielder. When he plays as a midfielder, he's horrendous. I think he's better as a front three, in the position Tuchel used to play him in. But again, he's
you prefer him as a number 10 compared to a number 8.
Honestly speaking, yeah, because he played as an 8 the last 3 games, and he's been horrendous. And that's what I'm saying. These attackers, it's the personnel, not the system. And that's what I'm saying. Get rid of all our attackers. Bring in Leao. Bring in Rafinha. Blah blah blah. All these other guys. They will perform better. Look at Sterling. He's played 4 games. He's done well. Imagine what we can do with the other 2 positions.
I respectfully disagree, but that's fine. It's purely subjective. I think like Rafael Honigstein. He's a journalist, an SME, a subject matter expert on the Bundesliga in Germany, and him and I know he's German. I know there's bias, but they look at him in Germany as the next great player, and they wax lyrical about him. These are people that know far more about football than I do. I don't claim to be an expert at all. I'm just a fan. From my observations, I think he's very technical. When I say technical, I'm referring to his first touch. I like Sterling, but invariably, for the most part, if you look at his first touch, he's not technical. And I look at a Havertz, he's very technical. I look at Ziyech, very technical. His first touch never lets him down for the most part, but he's too small and he's not blessed with size or speed. This league has proven that he can't play in it. I agree with you. I'm not disputing Ziyech. I still think the same applies to J5, in my opinion. But it's purely subjective. There is no right or wrong in that.
All right, let me try. That's an interesting question. I want to start with you before I go to Matt on that one. Gunplay says we should stay away from Hazard. We love him too much as a Chelsea as Chelsea community. We don't want to see him declining. It will be too sad again. Yeah, because he's a player that we all thought was destined, to win the Ballon d'Or, to be one of the best in the whole world, but that hasn't really happened. Again, is there a chance that could still happen? There's a possibility. After all, how old was Luka Modric when he won the Ballon d'Or? But we'll see.
Different
YTV.
Though.
Sorry.
Different positions, though. But I don't know.
Yeah, he plays in a place where even he has more. Again, that is the room to do more stuff that will help him win Ballon d'Or than Modric is. That's just the truth. He plays closer to the final. Again, I hope you understand my point here. Modric plays in the midfield, but him plays further forward where he can get more goals, create more chances than Modric can. If he does well, then yeah. My point is that he plays where he has more chance of winning the Ballon d'Or than Modric. We should sell Havertz, Pulisic, Mount, Odoi, J5, and Ziyech, then use the funds to buy Alvarez, Leao, and Modric. Modric, I think I saw something the other day. Looks like Everton want him. I'm not sure, but again, correct me if I'm wrong. Hazard is still better than all our attackers except Sterling. I think you and Matt, you're sounding like Matt right now. Tiva says again, if I am Robin turned around his career at Bayern after injuries at Chelsea and Madrid, then we should give Hazard the same chance as he is a blue legend. I think if you want to do something similar, if you want to, do something, give a player a chance based on what you read the I am Robin case, then it's Christian Pulisic. He's always injured. Again, just like I am Robin did when he was at Chelsea, but he left at Chelsea, and then the rest is history. Maybe Christian Pulisic is the guy you give that chance, but I don't see that happening. Except if Porter really likes him and starts fielding him on a regular basis, then he may well decide to stay. Havertz again, yeah. Oh, okay. Man cannot thread a true ball again to save his life. If Ziyech can play through balls again in this system, why can't Kai do it? Stop defending again. I'm not defending Kai, but again, I think he's the type of player. It's hard to understand what he brings to the team, and I still think he brings quite a lot. Which you could argue. Potter is well acquainted with what he brings to the team, which was why he started his first game in charge. There are other players that people thought would start over Kai Havertz, but he started, and that's because Potter sees something in him. I hope we see that constantly. And again, do I think it's been, he's done quite well since the season started? I'd say no. He needs to improve. Do you rate Aubameyang? I'll have you start this one, Roger, before I go to Matt.
Do I rate Aubameyang?
Yeah, that's what somebody in the chat asked. Yeah,
sure. Yeah. I mean, he looked very, very bloody good for Barcelona in half a season. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he scored more goals than he matches played. I think it was like 18 goals
No,
in like
he plays
17.
17 games and scored 11 goals, but I think he's even that was last season.
Oh,
But
okay.
before he
Sorry.
came to us, I think he scored two more or one more. I'm not sure. But that's a good
Yeah.
return. That's nearly one
Oh,
goal
the
per game. But
ratio,
go
the
ahead.
rate, yeah, that's a great ratio. I mean, I would give my firstborn to for any player on our team to have that right now. Yeah, no. I'm going to say something, and I'm sure I'm going to get trashed for it. But you have to understand, like Aubameyang is he's gone through a lot right now psychologically. He's suffering from PTSD in all likelihood from the personal experience of being burgled and attacked. That's like going to war basically. So who knows how long it will take. He's admitted that he wasn't ready to start and play in the last couple of days, I believe he stated in an interview. So
Hmm.
let's say he's fully recovered, and let's say he's physically, because playing with a mask on, you're going to be apprehensive to say the least to go in for headers and so forth. Let's say he's fully recovered in a month's time and so forth, and he's psychologically more prepared. Then I think he could be quite a, I wouldn't say prolific, but I'd say his ratio would be respectable. I don't rate him as high because, like, if you look at a Havertz, you have to understand Havertz is still a very very young player. He's nowhere near his prime yet. I think that's another thing we need to take into consideration. But Aubameyang, he can read the game well. He's early 30s, is he? 32 or 33, I think. He's not a spring chicken anymore. So he can read the game well. And so it all boils down to knowing the chemistry and knowing, getting on the training field and understanding what is required of each player and how they play and so forth. So I think time would be a factor. You have to give him a break on that. But I can't see him replicating what he's done in the last year. But he is historically a 20 plus goal scorer per season in the Premier League. So he is proven. But I would say he's waning in his career, but I'm assuming that going forward. Would I like for him to return to the last 12 months or more? Yes, of course I would. Um, I'm not sure he can accomplish that. That's my only apprehension, and that's purely based on the fact what's transpired to him. Also, I think we have to take that in consideration because he's a human after all.
Yeah, I think Coach disconnected, but I'll just say on Aubameyang, I think Aubameyang for me was a Tuchel signing. It was Tuchel's player. He wanted the player. I think he was going to do very well on the Tuchel. I said I wanted him to score 12, 15 goals. Nothing insane. Just come do your job, leave in a couple of years, stock
Sure,
standard. But I don't know how Potter's going to use him. I think Potter's I don't know, Potter's kind of sense of using attackers, I'm not too familiar with, but what I've seen is, it's just the basic kind of, with the attack, the striker needs to put in, somewhat of a shift. And Aubameyang, I don't know how Top Potter's going to use him. I just don't know. And coming with his age, obviously, he's only going to have one more year on him. It was a buy for a short term. Again, Bowie, listened to Tuchel, got his players like Aubameyang and Zakaria, and then sacked him. So I don't know what the plan is with Aubameyang right now. I think coming with Aubameyang, I think it's Potter's kind of, maybe secondary player. Maybe Brozier gets us as a first starter. But I think right now, all our strikers in Kai Havertz, Aubameyang, and Brozier have something to prove to Potter, because I think they're all at an equal level right now. I don't think any of them are better than each other. I think right now they're all average players. I think Kai's been given a massive chance on the Tuchel. He didn't really upheld that. But I think coming with a new manager, they all start at ground zero. And we'll have to see in the coming weeks what happens with Aubameyang and Potter, because Potter's coming, is a bit different to Tuchel's style, and I don't know how he would use it and get the best out of Aubameyang for sure.
can I ask you a question,
Um,
Matt? I
yeah,
just
go
want to
for it.
say something, and I respect your opinion. I really do. But to label them as quote unquote bang average, I wouldn't go that far because you have a look. Let's look at domestically when Tuchel came on board. He's reached 3 consecutive domestic cup finals. So you have to have a level of consistency and superior players. Listen, cup competitions, anything can happen. I get it. But to reach the last 3, 2 they lost on penalties, 1 they lost on a worldie to Leicester, I think it was, or Arsenal, I forget. And then obviously to reach the final of the Champions League and then win it. And by the way, Havertz received a great pass from Mount and finished very well against, I think, a superior team in Man City. I hate to say it, but if we play them 10 times, they're going to beat us more often than not. I concede that. But then to also win the other 2, shall we say, plastic cups, at least there's a level of consistency, and we're playing other good teams. So I wouldn't say they're bang average. Listen, he reached 6 out of 7 cups. Tuchel did, and the only one that we didn't reach the final was the quarterfinal loss to Real Madrid because of Jorginho and that Mendy era. It was,
that
so
was
you have
Kante.
to look that they played very well.
Jorginho didn't even. It was Kante. It wasn't Jorginho. It was Kante. Jorginho didn't even play.
Really?
It was Kante who gave the ball off the cheek and then overturned it. Yeah, it was Kante.
But they had it in midfield, the error with Mendy and Jorginho in the first game I'm talking about.
Jorginho wasn't playing.
I'd have to watch it again.
No, if you're talking about you're talking about the Mendy's
then
mistake.
I stand corrected. No, I'm talking about
it was Mendy and
error.
Kante. It was Mendy and Kante.
Okay, I stand corrected then. But then do you understand? It's like, so we made an error or so. I thought we played better. We were the better team.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So to say that we're bang average, I think that's really harsh because they've shown a level of consistency that, listen, I think Liverpool and City they're at their peak, so to speak. Hopefully, I know with the advent of Haaland to City, I don't think they potentially even reached their peak. But we've done very well. We've done better than them over the last 18 months or so under Tuchel. That's a statistical factor.
You just said it right there. You said it right there. It's under Tuchel, right?
What's that?
The attack. The reason we got into this
Potter is the great unknown in this equation.
No. I'm going back to what you're saying because you're kind of going off topic there with the point I was saying how attack's bang average. Our attack's bang average because they were the 10th best attack in all the leagues for the whole season. And the reason we won those games was not because of our attack, it's because of the manager.
Defense.
Right? When you look at our defense, you look at all the goals who scored the goals. Reece James, you see Chilwell here, there. Like we didn't get any goals from our attack, and the goals we did
we
get
created
from our attack
the most amount of chances.
Norwich and Watford. The Mason Mount scored half his goals and assists against Norwich and Watford and Southampton. That's when you know that our team's horrendous. Like again, it's just the manager was the reason we got to that fun. Again, we look at the Manchester City game. An exception to the rule does not then intend make the rule. They scored that goal against the UCL final in Manchester City. I clap my hands to that. They won. They were part of the reason why we won the Champions League. After the Champions League, they've not done anything valuable to get us trophies. Look at the Super Cup. Who won us that one? We can say Kepa, say that's on the penalties, because we couldn't score enough goals.
Sure.
Mason Mount lost us in the FA Cup final, missed 2 tap-ins.
We haven't
there's
been
a
clinical.
lot more worse than bad though. But that's my problem. We haven't been clinical. I've always said I think we create great chances.
We've created
that comes from Reece James. That comes from Reece James.
Roger, let him drop. I think we're all talking at the same time.
Sure. I'm sorry.
No, I'll just say I think the point was I had a conversation with Monster CFC, and I always said I think it's our finishing. We look at our creativity. I think we can create quite well coming from Reece James, but our creativity doesn't come from our attack. We look at Mason Mount. Mason Mount got his first open play assist in I think 18 months or something. I saw some stat or 6-7 months against Salzburg, and he didn't even mean to do the pass. So it's like that just shows the level of our attack. Our attack, is not great. It needs upgrading. And to blame kind of the system, I don't see it when they've been playing a year and a half football and they've shown absolutely nothing to be called very good attack. That's what they're bang average. They came 10th. They came 10th in the league as our attack. Our attack came 10th in the league. That means they're bang average.
No, I concur with you on that. As I've said before on this show, this statistic blew me away. The fact that we've created more chances than City and Liverpool since Tuchel's reign. That really is absurd that we've created more chances than those two great teams, and yet our finishing it's appalling. and I know Werner's went through a really bad patch where he was missing tap-ins. I get it. And sometimes you can just be off form, it's simple as that. You see other players. I know they're different leagues, and I've been critical of people that compare leagues to the Premier League, but that they're more clinical in other leagues. So maybe it's a combination. Maybe they're off form. Maybe it's the system. Maybe who knows? I have no idea. But I understand what you're saying, because we are. I can't understand why we're not this clinical. I mean, we are bang average in that regard. But to say that they're trash or whatever, I don't agree with that at all. I don't. I really don't. I mean, it's not just me. You look at other people internationally, though, journalists, that they rate them. So,
oh yeah, of course they'll rate them
there's something
it
that's
fits
wrong.
the narrative. That's why they rate them, because it fits the narrative.
Well, yeah, you could say that, but they're also observant and highly respected journalists. A lot of them. There's something wrong. I grant you that with the way we've approached tactically going forward, it's been lacking under Tuchel. And listen, the great unknown is Potter. I agree with you. We have no idea what he's going to do. For all we know, he'll put Mendy in the number 9. Who knows? I have no idea. I respect Potter. I think I'm looking forward. I wanted Tuchel to stay, but I think Potter is going to be a pleasant surprise for us. I respect him a lot, but who knows? We have to wait and see.
I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
If I could ask you, does our attack need upgrade? Do we need to upgrade our attack?
I would like to see the first, let's say, up till Christmas, after the World Cup and up till Christmas. I want to see what our forwards. I want to see what Potter does offensively. I want to see whether it's the system or the players. That's what I want to see. Give them even a year, let's say, the end of this season. Let's see. If things remain the same, then I think we may need to clear house, and maybe get rid of a few players. But I think we will regret letting go of a player like Kai. I rate him. I think he has the potential.
I think,
based
but isn't
on
that
the
the
fact
best?
he's
Like,
so
would
young.
you rather? Yeah, but would you rather him perform well at a different club like Real Madrid, or fail at Chelsea for the rest of his career? Like, just hypothetically.
Well, yeah, obviously the initial as opposed to the latter. Obviously, yeah, that would be selfish of me. But who knows? He may develop, because these are very young people. They're nowhere close. A lot of them are nowhere close to their peak. Ziyech aside, So same with Captain America. What is he? 24, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
23, I think,
yeah, he's had a few injury issues. So let's see. It's hard to hypothesize in that regard. Pulisic, he's 24. He was born on 18th of September 1998. So he's 24 years and 5 days. So yeah. But,
jeez, he's getting old again. But that's getting old. Like, Mason Mount's not a kid anymore as well.
Man,
like, Pulisic's not a kid.
Man, I feel elation when you say that. Yeah, no,
like they're not kids anymore. Like, they've had a lot. This is Pulisic's fourth season at this club. No, but this is Pulisic's fourth season, and it's like coming 24. He's not young anymore. It's just crazy how time flies. To be honest, but like yesterday we just signed him.
But yeah, no, it does. You know what? He probably won't reach his peak till he's 27, 28 in that position. So you have to give him time. I mean, do you remember, until he was injury prone, he was our best player for like 3-4 months. He was outstanding till he pulled a hamstring in the FA Cup final. So he has potential. He's proven that he can perform in the Premier League, but he's fragile. And I don't see him applying himself like that. I don't know whether it's psychological or not, but I have no idea. Hey, Bobby, how are you, sir? Bobby there? No, Bobby's not there. That's you, Coach. I'm sorry. I thought it was Bobby was joining the panel.
Yeah, that's
your camera's off, by the way, Coach. Your camera's off.
I'm trying to fix the issue with my men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's listen, you may be 100% right, Matt. I have no problem eating crow pie, but we've discussed this before. It looks like my daughter can do better than them sometimes. When they have the ball on the plate and they miss this. I mean, I'm a goalkeeper, and this goal is huge. You know, it's a massive piece of property from stick to stick, and for them to miss that spatial, what is it, 18 yards wide? It's huge. To be to miss a goal, and they miss it quite often. A lot of the time, they don't even hit the target, which is look at England, very frustrating. You know, you should at least make the keeper work. You know, so there's a rebound or an error potentially. In my logic, you should at least make him work. So, now, if you miss just barely, I get it. But when you're missing, like you're kicking a rugby extra point, there's something wrong with that. The fundamentals, and that's from the midfield also. You know, I used to love watching Rudiger go for a long shot. I must admit that very entertaining. But we have serious we have issues of us not finishing it, and not even finishing, but hitting the target, based on the fact that we have created the most amount of chances in the Premier League. That stat is abysmal. I agree with you. That's all.
Yeah,
To me, that's our main issue.
unfortunately, the Tuchel out fans weren't paying attention to that. I think a lot of people that wanted Tuchel to leave the club were basing the judgment, you could say, on their perceived unfair treatment of their respective favorite Chelsea players. Again, some of them, if you show them that statistics that showed that we created quite a lot of chances, even more than Man City, right? But it's just
and Liverpool.
That has always been, has always been the issue. They don't pay attention to it. Some of them are just they hated the man because
regardless.
Complaining that favorite players being played out of position and all that nonsense. And now, again, I'm going to see what they do, because Graham Potter does the same thing. See how he uses Trossard and all the players. He plays them as wing back. But I think you can argue one of the reasons why people complain a lot about that is down to, you could say, lack of a proper understanding of football. A lack of the understanding that, yes, again, you have a winger in the right wing back position, but it's the application of where you pay attention to. The application is different. And that's why Ruben Loftus-Cheek, he's played there, he's enjoyed it. He made it seem like, okay, that's where he should be playing all the squad. Starting played there against Salzburg. You see how well he did. But again, we didn't hear so much about those complaining, Thomas Tuchel playing players, wingers in the wing back positions and all that. Again, I'd say it's lack of proper understanding of football. That's my opinion.
That's what I've always said. It's the personnel rather than the system. That's what I said before. It was personnel rather than the system, because I've said it. We've always just need a finisher. And that's why we went for someone like Aubameyang, just to finish those goals, because when you got players like Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, who just can't put the ball in the back of them, that's what frustrates me. And I've said that's why I call them bang average, because if they were superstars, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. And that's why they need to be upgraded. Mason Mount needs to be held to an accountable standard where he can be sold next summer, because apparently this guy is untouchable. He should be touchable. He should be gone.
No, I agree.
Next summer if he doesn't perform this summer. Accountable. Yeah, that's a better word.
No, you're right. I don't dispute what you're saying in that regard, because you're speaking logically. So to me, like, if I don't like a player, it's not because I don't like the person, professionally. Like, oh, I hate Jorginho. No, I don't. He brings a lot to the table, like his leadership. There's more to being on the field. It's what you do in the locker room. That's very important and integral part of a team. It's a squad. You're not just playing the same 11. This isn't the 50s and 60s where you didn't have substitutions. The whole squad is so important. That chemistry is vital to a winning team. And Jorginho brings that. He does bring a lot, obviously. Otherwise, he wouldn't be a professional football player. He wouldn't even be a fourth division, let alone playing in the Premier League. So, he's a registrar. He really is he does things very well that other players cannot do. I concede that, but conversely speaking, he does things that I think that Well, and it's not his fault because he's not blessed with pace or size, and that's not his fault at all. But what he does do based on those attributes that he doesn't have, he does rather well. And maybe Potter, maybe if you notice that the game where we used a 3-5-2 versus, was it Salzburg? If you noticed that, I noticed that Jorginho was doing a lot of those no-look, one-touch passes into the box. A lot of them didn't pull off, but I don't care. At least it was the attempt, as opposed to passing back or passing sideways. You know, and the other thing I don't like about Chelsea is, I understand if you pass sideways or backwards, but if you do it with pace, because the whole concept of passing the ball around is to move players out of position, which thus allows you an opening. And when we pass slowly, that's the thing that I don't understand. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand this. And then when we go down or concede a goal, that's when the pace of the game changes. And that blows my mind. You shouldn't have to concede a goal to then understand you need to play faster. You know, and that's what I see game in, game out. That's one of the observations that I detest about Chelsea. Bobby is here.
Hi guys. Hi.
Yeah, you
Just
guys should
sort
go
of
ahead.
talking
I'm
to
still
them
trying to sort
about-
out issues. Yeah, you guys should go ahead with the
Sure.
conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of got the tail end of that, and I kind of figured that we were talking a bit about J5, and I still have an issue with J5. The reason being that, look, I know at the moment he's all we've got within that system that we play, which looks like continuing under Graham Potter. But you need to. There's no point being able to produce the goods in selective games that suit you, games where the pace is not what it is in the Premier League, and you have the protection around you that the Italian national team gives him. And when we're playing against low block counter-attacking sides, the time on the ball, you have to be more flexible, you have to be more capable. As a midfielder, he's incomplete. In my opinion, he's incomplete. He's nowhere near the Luka Modric's of this world. He's nowhere near. You know, I did have the opportunity last night to have a little look at him and look at Declan Rice. And I thought, wow, okay, some people have a point there, because Declan Rice didn't particularly cover himself with glory. But the thing is, Declan Rice was able to get away with things simply because he has the physicality. You couldn't push him over. You couldn't intimidate him when you got around him. You had to play over him or play out of his range. I'm still not totally convinced by Jorginho. I think Chelsea, with what we're aspiring to do, we need more completeness from our midfielders. We don't need inhibited midfielders. We've got enough inhibition. Maybe that's a new angle of looking at the problem. Every single midfielder we have in there is inhibited. Apart from, frankly, Ruben, who, when he's fit, is perhaps the only one that's capable of adjusting his play and playing in every which way. But the others, including Kante, have their inhibitions, whether it's in front of goal, whether it's defensively. There's always something they cannot do, and that's not a midfielder. You know, I look back to people like Roy Keane. He would, when he was there, Man United used to boss the midfield. Why? Because Roy Keane could do anything and everything in the midfield. Those are the midfielders we should be aspiring for, not these little experts in little specialist areas, in little specialist games, and then you're stuck with them in games where the pace, the power, and everything is too much for them. And no, it's not good enough. Personally, I don't think it's good enough. So, you can go to the national team, have his little moments, shine there, but when the dynamics of the game changes, is lost. That's not for me personally.
How about the option of keeping him at the club? I think you alluded to it a bit. Not playing him in every game. Some games, if we feel like mostly in the Champions League, he's done quite well in the Champions League overall. I don't see a Champions League game where you'd look at it and say he didn't do well.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that option. The unfortunate thing about that is that we've got several players who are going to fit that mold. You know, if we give Thiago Silva an extended contract, he's going to fit that mold. If we give Kante an extended contract, he's going to fit that mold, you know, not being able to play every game. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. But I would like to limit that to maybe 1 or 2 players maximum. You know, do we need Jorginho that badly that we keep him hanging around for specific games? I don't know. Not when we've got so many young people coming through and, you know, looking for a game and probably upset that they can't get game time vis-a-vis, what's his name that went away? The Scots kid.
Billy.
Yeah,
Billy
Billy
Gilmour.
Gilmour, you know.
Well, he's gone forever.
We have to,
So
there
he's
comes
gonna
a
come
time
back.
where you have to
That makes me cry.
No,
cry.
it's just well,
Billy.
no, it just says Todd Bowley's an idiot. Like it just
Yeah.
says Todd Bowley doesn't know what he's doing. The guy's lost.
I don't think it was his fault because if
Well, yes,
Tuchel
it
wanted
is,
to
'cause he
keep
wanted
him,
him
he
gone.
stays. I don't think so.
Because
There's a chance.
Coach, it doesn't make sense. If he's gonna sack
no, it
Thomas
makes
Tuchel,
sense
why do
because
you let
you
him
know
make
why?
the authority then?
You know why?
do you
Again,
let him do that deal then? So it makes no sense.
He
It's
had-
like a flip-flop.
Excuse me.
there's a chance he wanted to leave himself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a chance he wanted to leave himself because
The
he is an
chance that-
international and wants to be playing games. But go
Okay,
ahead, Bobby. Go ahead.
But coach, there's a chance for everything, and what we've heard that is what. Yeah, you're right. Tuchel had the decision to let him go or keep him. 100% correct. But why did if Bowie wanted him and Bowie knew Potter was coming? Why did he sack Tuchel after giving him the
Maybe
authority
he
to
didn't
let
know.
Gilmour go?
Maybe we just like you just said it yourself, bro. We just speculate. We're not sure what really happened.
I personally think Billy didn't do himself any favors. You know, when you start at the age of 19, 20, threatening the club about leaving, you know, it's the same thing about like the guy that went to Southampton. No, not De Bruyne. De Bruyne is a different case.
Lamptey, Ghanaian international.
The other one. You know, even Lamptey. You know, people like Lamptey and
Lamptey, yeah.
and De Bruyne, their case is a bit different because the Lamptey was up against Reece James. That's a no-brainer. And De Bruyne, to be fair, I know that people blame Mourinho a lot for getting rid of him, but De Bruyne was at Chelsea at a time where there was midfielders. There was Lampard, there was Essien, there was Ballack.
And he wanted to leave himself.
Well, he wanted to leave when he found that his position, that he could not, you know, dislodge any of those players. And testimony to that was that these players continued for years before he started hitting the giddy heights that he is now. So they're different propositions. But Billy Gilmour had his opportunity. He was getting played. He was getting put into the team slowly. And because of that, I think those man of the match praises that they were giving him, that's why I don't like things like that. They kept on giving him man of the match praises. I personally think it got to his head and it got to the head of his advisors, which were his parents. And then he started threatening the club. Oh, I have to play, or I need to go away. And, you know, it was the club tried to placate him. I think Tuchel honestly sent him to Norwich with an honest plan. He wasn't expecting Norwich to be that bad. And he thought that the coach at Norwich was playing a system that would help Billy. It went terribly wrong. Then he's come back. He signed an extra year in order for the club to be able to make money from his sale. That was it. His mind, seems to me, has always been made up about leaving. look, there's nothing you can do about that. You know,
if you don't, he runs down his contract and leave on a free. But here's the thing: even before he returned from that horrible loan spell, I knew he'd want to leave. Whether it was the club fault, whether it was his advisor's fault, I knew he would want to leave. Again, it's an unfortunate situation because I loved him so much. In the first place, under Thomas Tuchel, he shouldn't have gone on loan. He stayed. Thomas Tuchel played him in a few high-profile games. I think he won man of the match in 2 of them.
He would have played because we had so many injuries, remember?
At one time, Jorginho wasn't playing too.
Sorry?
At one time, Jorginho got injured.
Yeah, there was no
Jorginho,
no Kante, no Kovacic. He was nailed on to play. I think it's the only thing that saddens me about Billy Gilmour is that, I hope he'll become a good player. But Billy will never become a great player now. I think that ship has sailed for him. That opportunity that he missed at Chelsea will haunt him for a long time. And he may later on in his career find somewhere where he can shine. That will happen. But Billy was on course for real greatness, and impatience cost him.
He has the potential. He has the upside. This is.
No, he will get there. The unfortunate thing is that he will not be at Chelsea.
Yeah.
He's that good.
Most likely, yes.
Yeah, he's that good. He's you could say Jorginho is a register traditionally, and he's a register and can never be a DM. But Billy Gilmour is a mashup of a DM and a register. He's a hybrid player. He's small. Look at him, as small as he is. He out-jumped Ronaldo. He won an aerial duel with Ronaldo against Manchester United when he was on loan.
Sure. Jorginho bodied Mr. There once. Doesn't mean he's big as well.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to. Yeah, I know Jorginho is good, but I'm just trying to explain how, again, some people say Thomas Tuchel doesn't like Billy Gilmour because he's short and all that. That's all nonsense. Tuchel liked him, but probably he wanted to be starting. That is a day in on weekly basis, and not to only get chances here and there on the cup games and all that. Again, I did the video then with Lamb's react. And again, the argument was that he shouldn't have gone on loan. He's that good. But again, we just have to move on from him. Bobby, let me ask you this question. You haven't spoken about that yourself. It's about this man. Whatever we're hearing out there is an indicator or an indication that the club that they're looking at him. It's just again, the fan base. Some that are still fit, that still love him. Even those that don't. Again, all Chelsea fans love him. I don't know if I'm correct, but my point is quite a lot of people are calling for the club to go for him or for him to come back. Your thoughts again? Do you think we should bring him back, or do you think we should leave him there? Whichever your choice is. Whatever your choice is, tell us why.
I mean, look, we've brought in a 33-year-old Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Why on earth would we not consider a 31-year-old fit again Eden Hazard? You see, Eden Hazard to me is a perfect example of, look, the grass is not always greener. All these people banging on about, Real Madrid, Barcelona. There is a limit to, you can only play 11 players on the pitch. And they have the best and the best and the best. They have too many players. Eden Hazard is not going to get game time there, period. What, you're going to bench Vinicius Jr., who is your present and future, for Hazard, who is just on his way out? It ain't happening. It's rare that players
Bobby.
Modric
If he's not better than Vinicius Jr., that's rubbish.
Let him drop Matt.
Modric can continue as they are. It's testimony to how great a talent Modric is. I think if it's possible, Chelsea have made their money from his sale. His contract is winding down. I think if it's possible, it may be sensible even for him to come back to Chelsea and start cooking. He has about 2 more good seasons left in him where I think he can produce something at Chelsea. And that will probably wisen up some of these players. You know, it's not everybody that should and would go to Real Madrid and perform. You know, Mbappe, I know it took money, but he's another example of that. He's like, you know what? Screw you. I don't need this. You know, it's very difficult. I always try and tell people that is a very political dressing room. Not only is it a political dressing room, it's a loaded dressing room. If you really want to make your name, it doesn't necessarily have to be there. And now every club has money. You know, they pay super wages. They can't keep doing that. They have to cap their wages to within the range of other top clubs in Europe. So I think Real Madrid was a big mistake for Eden Hazard, and it's come to show. The only good thing about it was that he left the Premier League, which is a vicious league. I think that league contributed to his ankle injuries. They kicked lumps out of him for years and damaged him, and he went somewhere to recuperate, and hopefully he'll come back. And hopefully this time the referees will protect him a bit, because really some of the things that happened to Eden Hazard in the Premier League was criminal. It should never have been allowed, never have been allowed. And it was encouraged vis-a-vis Mr. David Moyes and your vicious football. He got people kicking that kid all over the place, and he got away with it under this stupid pretext that we're the Premier League, we're a physical league. Yeah, I'm all for being physical, but I'm not for maiming and destroying people's careers.
You do,
Yeah,
Bobby. You know
that's a
that
good comment. Mhm. Go ahead.
Bobby. You know he had. I'm not sure whether it's singular or plural, but he's had the ankle plate or plates removed successfully surgically, so he's back to full strength and he's looking very fit. He's cut and he's lean. First time since he's left Chelsea.
Yeah, he is. But the trouble is, he's not going to play. That's just it. He's not going to play.
He's surplus to requirements there. I agree.
Yeah. And the fact that his ankles were in plates in the first place was due to the Premier League. Listen, I've seen live, and I'm sure Matt has. I've been at the bridge. I've watched face to face some of the kicks, the brutality that kid went through. It's just that he's strong. He never complained. You kick lumps out of him and he'll get up, he'll dust himself down
and
he'll keep going. It was too much. And I will never forgive David Moyes when he was in United, when he eventually went, every team he was in, he encouraged his players to hurt Eden Hazard. That's not football. I will go for the physical stuff, right? 50-50 balls, stand up. It's a man's game. But I have no time for you deliberately targeting another player and going for him in order to hurt him. That's not football. That's what they did to Eden.
Exactly.
Yeah, Matt, you wanted to say something.
Totally.
No, I'll say, like, Bobby said before about Eden Hazard isn't better than Vinicius, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, maybe not now, but that's the point. I wouldn't bring a player who couldn't start for Real Madrid for 4 years. Like, there's no point bringing a guy who's finishing. We gotta get a guy who's starting his career. Leao and Kuku, all these other guys that we can name. There's no point going back to your exes, Bobby. We all know that. There's no point going back to them. We've got to move on. We've got to go for a new guy.
No, I agree, Matt. I agree. I'm very I have this sort of attachment because I really respected what he did. But I think you're right. I think perhaps the shift has sailed, and there comes a time where you have to let go. And probably this is that time with Eden. And it's a shame, but what you're saying is right. Time to move on. Time waits for nobody, right?
That's what I would describe.
Like I said before, Bally and all the corner owners start looking at him. I think he has to put in a consistent performance. Again, where I don't think they'd be looking at him at this point, given that he hasn't played that much. Plus, something Matt and I already talked about. That's a chance they prefer him stay there, win stuff. They get money each time he wins. He wins something at Madrid. I think from a business perspective, that may well make more sense to them than bringing him to the club. Because I don't see him taking a wage cut. So to some extent, it doesn't make sense. Do I want it to happen? I really do want it to happen. Go ahead, Roger. You were saying something.
So financially, I believe we bought him for 32 or 33 million. Was it
Around
pounds
35
or
million.
euros? I forget. Well, is that pound sterling? And we've sold right now. We sold him, according to ESPN, we sold him for like 90 something million pounds, and which was like 100 million euros. And since then, they've won two division titles and a Champions League, and I believe the total is around 160 million pounds. So we've made about 125 million, give or take a few shekels, which is amazing. I mean, I know that the market is inflated, but if they win more, and let's say we get another 20, 30 million, that's incredible. So potentially, mathematically, financially, it may make sense. But I understand what Matt and indeed Bobby have said. It's time to move on, probably. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did return and played very well, better than anyone we have, let's say. And because he's clinical,
Yeah,
he knows
and that's
how to
because
find the back of the net.
Chelsea is home.
Well, yeah. So he has a comfort level, as you would say, but he's also clinical. He knows how to finish with both feet. That's the one thing I do love about him. He's not dominant on one foot more than the other. You can't, if you watch him, let's say you get a Martian and you sit him down and watch the highlights of Eden, that Martian wouldn't be able to tell whether he's right-footed or left-footed. He's quite good in the air for someone of his stature. You know, I think he can perform for a year or two with us at a high level. Perhaps not at the heights that he was before, but better than anyone we have right now. I mean, you're talking about winning points that could make a difference between us making top four or winning a trophy or not. Is it worth it? Potentially, yes. I'm playing devil's advocate here. So that's where I stay. I wouldn't mind if we bought him back. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it, but again, it would be difficult for it to happen. While let me start. While I'm still with you, Roger. Looking beyond the injuries he's had since he joined Madrid, what other factors do you think led to him not doing well at Madrid?
Well, so he turned up before he even kicked a ball. He was overweight, and his reputation at Chelsea of not knowing where the gym was, sarcastically with his teammates, and he was never a gym rat. You could tell if you watch him in the Cobham. He was always joking. He was like a child in a sweet shop. He loves the game, and he would probably play for free. You can tell he absolutely loves this game with a passion. So for me, showing up where you're overweight and you're not hitting the gym and you're taking it for granted. Okay, maybe he couldn't work out as much because of his injury levels. So perhaps that's an issue. But I think the fact that he wasn't, how shall we say this? He wasn't taking his care. If you look at Ronaldo, he takes care of his body very well. I don't think Ronaldo did. Sorry, I don't think Hazard did that to the extent that someone as professional as a Ronaldo does. So I think that's a contributing factor. I think we have to be honest about this, and I think deep down he would admit it too.
To me, I understand he joined them overweight and all that. Again, I'd summarize it by saying that the problem was that, again, how do I phrase it for it to make sense? I think he found out that he's not important, nearly as important as he think he'd be for them, because he's that player, like I've said, alluded to before. He wants that responsibility. You want to make him feel important. You want to let him know, I trust you. But that wasn't the case. Like I said, had it been that when he arrived, that Ramos wasn't rebelling for a new contract, and especially him coming in and start earning more than Ramos. Ramos, he didn't relinquish the penalty taking responsibility, or give it to him. That would have helped his confidence. He'd have a good start. That's who he has it is. Again, that's me. Bobby, your thoughts, looking beyond his injuries, what are the factors that you think, culminated into him not doing well?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. There's a lot of things. I take note he wasn't a good trainer. He's one of those people that he made himself with his natural ability rather than his rehearsed ability, which is something that tends to catch up with you the older you get. I never felt Hazard belonged in Madrid. I never felt that. Even when we were doing deals for him, I was always coming onto platforms saying, look, this is a mistake for him. Eden Hazard is the star of the show. He is the main player. You take him, he needs to be a big fish in a small pond, as it were. You take him into a big pond, I don't think he ever really settles in. He needs people to rely on him. Even when he was very young at Chelsea and he'll come onto the field, he produced something and the others around him kind of relied on him. I think it was just a mistake. It's just one of those moves that doesn't work out. Now, will he, play an important part at Madrid if he stays? Yes, he will. But he's never going to be the star. He will be a super sub or one of those sort of players that they rely on to come on and change games, like they did with my names and my mind is going. The Welsh kid.
Bale.
Yeah, Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
As they did with Gareth Bale. After a while, he was just coming off the bench, and I don't see more than that than for Eden. The reason why Eden's unhappy is that he knows he's worth more, and he knows he would be worth more to another team.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame, I take Matt's point. We need to be looking ahead. Can we look ahead with Eden in the fold? It's possible. It's possible. It depends on the plans of the new coach, new manager. Is it likely? Unfortunately, the likelihood of that, I think, is quite diminished.
Yeah, it's not a straight situation. It's complicated. Matt, do you want to come in, or do you want us to move to the next one? And I want to start you with the next one.
We'll go to the next one. I think we've been in the
all right.
for a while.
Here's the thing. Okay, so Matt, again, so Thomas Tuchel injured. Thomas Tuchel has caused Christian Pulisic to get injured. I want to get your thought. I know I'm joking. What do you think? Again, he gets injured again.
It just sums up what I've been saying. Like this attack, like we have to come down to now. Can they even be consistent? And I've said like we should have sold Pulisic. Like, Manchester United wanted him. I was all for it. I think because he's no threat to me whatsoever.
Really?
And I would rather him succeed at Manchester United than him suffer at this club for years on end. Right? Excuse me. But Pulisic again. Obviously, the thing people were saying Tuchel got him injured. All this rubbish. Tuchel. I mean, Pulisic has this ego. And that I don't like, and I do not like player power. Like I've said, I don't have a connection with these players as a team. I think since Hazard left, even before that, I haven't really had a solid connection with the teams. I like individuals, but as a team, I don't like this team. I really don't like them. I don't feel any chemistry between them, off the pitch, on the pitch. I look at Everton, and I'm there smiling at Everton's, players like Iwobi and then a couple of the new players they got. And they're just all having fun, playing football and having a great time behind the dressing room. They got a great dressing room. I want to see that from our club. And we've got these players like Mason Mount, Aspilicueta, Christian Pulisic, who just cry. It's not Tuchel's fault Pulisic is rubbish. Like Pulisic has had a major opportunity. I get it. Not the biggest opportunity. But when he's had the opportunity, he didn't take it on it. All right, so Pulisic, now this injury, I don't know where it's come from. I don't know how he's got it. But it's a massive factor to us going forward. Do we use this guy going forward? And I would say, as I said, with all my attackers right now, with all the players right now, we've got to start with the ground zero. We've got a new manager coming in. They might be playing different styles. I'm willing to give Christian Pulisic a shot. I really like Christian Pulisic. I think he's a good player. You're right. But I think his ego gets ahead of him. I think, the guy being American, you don't know where I'm from, like him saying all that stuff, and Tobo being the owner. I think it has a bit of a higher thread towards other players in his personal belief. So I just don't want our player power to overtake him. I want him to be a professional footballer about it. Like Werner, I have high respect for Werner for understanding he's not good enough for this club and leaving. Pulisic tried to do that. Obviously, Tuchel or someone blocked it. I'm not too sure, but he needs to come back and really show why we signed him, because he has not shown it. Pulisic has been one of the rare players who have not shown absolutely anything recently, and he needs to prove himself, because I think he has that talent. He definitely has it there. He's very,
He
very
has
talented.
the talent. I'm just concerned about one thing and one thing only, and that's his behavior. Again, his father's tweeting about his game time and all that. That shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening. Again,
You think that
and now with his injuries, coach, as well, with his injuries, like what's going to happen with his injuries? Like, is this like how is he getting injured? Like, what did he get injured from? He hasn't played in 6 months.
And the game in question hasn't even started. Next thing we're hearing, again, he isn't part of the lineup because he got injured. I don't know if it was during warm up or did he even warm up. I don't know. I'm just I like him as a player, but I'm seriously concerned about his behavior. I'm not gonna lie. Roger, your thoughts on Christian Pulisic getting injured again? Yeah, and have you bought his book?
I think we can safely assume that's a negative, coach. I'm waiting for Bobby to review it first. No, here's the. That's a very good question, coach. No, there's a lot of luck in sports. You know, some people's body reacts differently to impact than others, so it's genetics. So maybe his pain tolerance is lower than other people's. Who knows? One can only speculate. But he does seem to be. Well, and I listen. I know he's been labelled a cookie that crumbles, but he seems to be injury prone lately, and I don't blame an individual because he seems like he's always in shape. So you can't say that he's let his body go. He doesn't train hard enough. There's some times where you're just unlucky. Like I've seen NFL players, they blow out one knee, then the next season they blow out the other. You know, in a non-contact sometimes. There's a lot of luck. You know, as I've said today, your body is your office. You know, it's like their laptop. So he does seem fragile, but he doesn't seem that small compared to like a Jorginho. Maybe he's injury prone, and I hate that term because it denotes a negative connotation when it's not their fault at all. Do you understand? You know that there's a player in the NFL for the Cowboys called Too Tall Jones that played like 13 years, and he was asked what can you attribute to your success playing with your longevity? He said luck. He said my first training camp, I saw a professional player blow out his knee that ruined his career, and it was a non-contact injury. Because you need luck, and I think that has resonated with me over the years, and it's true. You do need a lot of luck. Now, is his father with all these tweets? Is that impacting him psychologically, mentally? I can't answer that. I can't read his mind. I would hope not. I would hope that he's a professional. This isn't Hershey, Pennsylvania anymore. This is the big league, son. You know? And I'm hoping that he's professional. The people around him are saying, you have to train hard, work hard, and everything else, whether it's your personal life in romance or going out clubbing or whatever other external influences are, just concentrate because your career is limited. You're not going to work till you're 60 unless you want to go in coaching or as a pundit or whatever. Your on-field career is a very finite length of time. So I'm sure he's been informed of that. I hope that he has people around him that are sensible, pragmatic, influential in a positive sense. So do I think the injuries are concerned? Yes, because he has a history of it. But he could play the next 5 years and not get a knock at all. There's a lot of luck, but it does seem genetically he's disposed to being hurt. And this is a very physical league, more than your average league. Let's be honest here. I mean, I think it has a reputation in Europe as the most physical league. So maybe he's not built for this league, perhaps. And I say this in a non-deflammatory manner. I mean this politely and respectfully. I don't wish to diminish him or any other player for that matter, because it has such a negative connotation when he's injury prone. It's not his fault or her fault, depending on the league, But I just hope, everyone mentions his father tweeting and so forth. maybe it is impacting him. You know, maybe because he's under big pressure. He plays for a country that's the size of the continent, the USA, where he's the man. You know, he's the Michael Jordan of his sport in America. So
that's a huge responsibility, by the way.
It is a factor. Maybe the pressure, maybe the shoulder, the weight of the shirt, as we say, or for playing for the USA. Maybe it's too heavy for him. Who knows? But I would like to see him play healthy and see what he's like, because I've seen his potential, chaps, and he can reach that. He has the upside, but can he maintain it and be healthy? Lately, he has not. He looks lost, doesn't he? He looks.
That's some detailed explanation there. Ochi, how are you doing before I go to Bobby with this one?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good, bro. I can't complain. Just quickly, if you want to talk about whether you want Eden Hazard to come or not and why, if not, you can go ahead talking about your cousin here on the screen. What do you think about his situation? What should we do with him?
Yeah, no, Hazard could stay at Madrid, man. Could get his money.
Okay.
That's my real.
Okay. It's another way to see it. And again, it's a good idea. Let me just read this quickly. I'll come back, then you can talk about your cousin here on the screen. Having Hazard with Sterling in attack would be really great. I would take him back anytime. And again, big up, brother. Again, Santiago Munoz, you're still there, bro. I appreciate you. You probably was still listening. So, Ochi, you go ahead. Your thoughts. What should Chelsea do with Christian Pulisic?
Honestly, it reminds me a bit of Robben, but just a much poorer man's version. I think he should move to another league where he will get more healthy game time, and then he could fill the boots up and become America's real good player. Right now at Chelsea, he's not going to play much. He'll be injured. He'll have a terrible season after season, and it'll just diminish all of his work he's done in America. As for any future jobs like punditry, well, he's not having much of a reputation. Players like Tim Cahill, him, Matt, very well. The reason he's liked is the way he carried himself. He was a stoic, physical player, a leader, a match winner. Like someone like that will always get jobs in punditry or whatever coach they want to do back home. But America, the way he's thinking up the scene with this book that he released at 24 years old, which is to me shocking.
It reminds me of Theo Walcott.
Theo Walcott done that.
Yeah, it reminds me. He wrote a book when he was still, I don't know how old then.
Robben is because Robben went on, left Chelsea, even though he was still doing decent before he left. He went on, and once he found the German league, which funny enough, where Pulisic was originally, it was just much easier for him. I'm not going to say the German league is easier, which it is, but it also seems to be less injury. Like they don't play as physical as you were alluding to earlier. But yeah, man, a lot of people, and he's one of them, are going to have to face the chopping board this summer.
Well, this is a marketing ploy by him and his team, shall we say, because of the World Cup. In the States, it's a marketing. It's for dollars. As simple as that.
Even without the World Cup, he sold more shirts in the United States, I think it was 2 years ago, than Cristiano Ronaldo did. I'm even suspecting there's a chance it's one of the reasons why instead of him leaving the club, Thomas Tuchel would leave. It's business. Like they're gonna make millions from him. Yeah.
But I think,
yeah, go ahead.
I think, just very quickly, I think if there was no World Cup this year, let's say it was next year, this book wouldn't be released this year. It's released just prior to the World Cup, and the hype around the World Cup right now is going to increase exponentially. I've lived there and I know how the media works. It's the biggest show on earth. So it's a good marketing point. It's because of the World Cup and America has qualified for it. So it's a hype and it's the perfect timing for him to release them. It's not coincidental. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, it's not. Again, it makes sense. I actually argued before that I don't see the club selling him, especially on the Todd Boehly, who probably knows his value for the club more than, again, overall, he's more than just a footballer for Chelsea Football Club. Bobby, coming to you, what do you think Chelsea should do about Christian Pulisic? Again, because if in fact that's my suspicion, I'm not sure that one of the reasons why they let Thomas Tuchel go was that They wanted Cristiano Ronaldo because of his, a commercial, or should I say, viability, or what. They wanted Christian Pulisic to stay, but probably there's a chance Thomas Tuchel wanted him to leave. All those things again, but Bobby, what do you think the club should do with him? If those things I talked about, if they were the case, then it will still, materialize again on the ground, Potter. But that's, by the way, your thoughts, Bobby. What do you think the club should do with him?
This is a strange one because at this current point in time, a lot is left to be seen with Christian Pulisic. The current problem with Christian Pulisic at Chelsea is just he needs to be scoring goals. That's all. Well, when I say that's all, that's what's putting a question mark on his appearances. And the issue of the knock he sustained at international break, as far as I know, it is just that, a training knock. And I think he wasn't played in the game, I think against Mexico, was it? It was a friendly, and they just
It
want to
was
protect it.
what club was that?
It's Mexico, isn't it? He played.
No. It
Oh,
wasn't
Japan.
Mexico. Japan, yeah, correct.
Ah, that's right, Japan, and they were beaten 2-0. So I think it was more a precaution. If it's a real injury, they would have sent him back to Chelsea. So I don't know. I'll wait and see on that one. A lot of everything right now with Chelsea is a wait and see. We don't even know how the team's going to play. We've only seen the coach once. We've only seen his selection once. There are many players that haven't even played under that selection. So we don't know yet. Pulisic, the issue of selling him does not arise. It's not even on the table right now. He needs to have his time with the club. He needs to show that he can score goals. This is the problem he has, scoring goals. Now, if I were Pulisic, I would keep my mouth shut, especially this World Cup year. Focus on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
All right. I had
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you, Bobby.
Yeah. So he needs to sharpen his goal scoring, and the rest is history. It's that simple. I don't think the owners want to get rid of him. He's a marketable American. I don't think.
Gone again.
Because all he wants is game time, like everybody else. So it's a wait and see position right now. I don't have too much of an opinion yet until we're back from international break. We see if he's fit and playable, because a lot of the problem he has, and many players have, including Callum Hudson-Odoi at one point, was that they had injuries, and the injuries affected their game time more than the coach.
Yeah, again, that's a very good one, Bobby. Let me stay with you before again I'll move on to other panelists there. I don't know if anybody else wanted to say something regarding Christian Pulisic, but I want us to move on from it and talk about Chalobah, the emerging rumors or news. I don't know how to verify that. Roma are looking to go, get him on loan, and I think he'd take it if it comes. If he fears, that he'd see less game that he's seen the past season, I think he'd take that opportunity if it calls. Plus, you could say the Leao, José Mourinho, he's shown he can actually, work with young players, motivate them. Motivation is what we know he's always gotten him. But what are your thoughts about that rumor, Bobby?
That's another one. It's a funny one. It's possible. It's possible for January. But, Chelsea's fixture pile-up is going to be huge. We've already not played because we've not played since the Champions League game. And there'll be a lot of back-to-back games and a lot of opportunity for game time. Will Graham Potter not fancy him enough to play him? There's a possibility. I think he played in the 2-0 or the 2-1 defeat to Portsmouth yesterday. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, I mean, if they come for him for a loan, it's very possible. Will the club allow it? It's not likely, not with our fixture pile-up.
Mm.
Yeah, Roger. Again, Matt, your thoughts on the Chalobah situation?
Yeah, no. Well,
Not
would
maybe I
Chalobah
shouldn't call it a situation at this point. But go ahead.
No, I don't. Obviously, I don't think this is true whatsoever. I mean, he just went through his, this whole period on the all
Mm.
August when he was supposed to leave and he didn't. And we need to use him for that depth. I think he's a player who has great potential. I think for me, I've always said this is what happens when you rush academy players. But again, we more needed him than wanted him. We had Zuma gone, and we needed someone in. I think he filled those roles not to an exceptional level, but I think he did a good level. And I want to see him in this team. I think he's got, some levels to go up, and I would rather have him here than have someone like Sarr or those other guys that are gone, or like Aspias. I'd rather have Chalobah than Aspias centre back. I think that was a big debate a couple of weeks ago. Chalobah, I think, the other day he also roasted some fan because some fan was saying that he lost in that friendly the other day, and Chalobah's very honest, very honest, and I think that's a player I like, and I like his personality. So I hope he can perform, man, because this guy, we need him for the depth. We're just speaking before, coach, about Koulibaly and Silva and how maybe not every game they might be starting depending on because of their age. And I think Chalobah can fill those spots in the more time he has. I don't think a loan will fix him. A loan will only get him options to sell. A loan will not progress his state of play. I think he's at that level where he knows how to play football at the moment.
Yeah, I hope he stays, but it's going to be very difficult. We've always thought that was going to happen. I hope everything we're seeing out there are all rumors. Roger, what do you think?
Yeah, coach,
yeah.
what is the source of this rumor? Is it a credible source?
Let me see if I have it open. I think I saw it in two places. It's not this one. Let me see. Just give me a second. This thing goes blind. I think it will come up again. But go ahead. I will have it open there. If we see it, I'll just click through it and it will open. Yeah.
So to me, I need to know how credible that source is. To me, that's the most important thing. And if it's not credible, then just dismiss it. Simple as that.
I'll say it's I think it's unreliable source. Very unreliable source.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not about.
I actually like Chalobah a lot. I think he's young. I think he has the potential to really grow with this club. I don't want to see another Tomori issue. I mean, I can't believe we let Tomori go.
But it's not only him. I mean, this is it's almost like sometimes I don't look at the sources and the facts and the actual black and white. I just look at the trend. If you're young and you're young and black and you go Italy, it seems to be like buying Bitcoin in 2012. It's a no-brainer. It's so I can name 10 players straight in the last 5 years from Smalling to Lukaku. Italy is a movement. If it's always going to be there for these players because they all seem to know now they're going to thrive there.
Yeah, exactly.
It is what it is. Even if it's a little silverware, it's still something.
It's important. At the end of your career, that's all that matters is silverware.
Yeah, it is. Again,
Abraham, big up all of our Chelsea players that went there. It is what it is, man. Let them win the European Conference League and the Italian Cup.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have let players go that I think that were worthy to play for us. I really do. I think we've made some front office decisions that have a lot to be desired for. Let's just put it that way. I think upon reflection, I know hindsight is everything. 2020, I get it. But even at the time that this was transpiring, Tomori was Player of the Year for Derby when Mount was playing with him. It was. I'm befuddled by that. So, and the same thing with Chalobah. I think if we let Chalobah go, it's not acceptable to allow that to transpire. It just isn't. He's worthy to start for us. Actually, I mean, I remember
it's proven. Actually, it's not that. So proven.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Proven. There you go. I mean, what a goal on his debut too. I mean,
exactly.
He embodies everything coming through the academy. He embodies everything that is Chelsea. It's sacrilegious if we let him go. You know, just like Gilmour. I know Coach agrees with me. I love Gilmour. I mean, I prefer him to J5. We have a history of it. You know, once is okay. It's an occurrence. Twice, possibly a coincidence. Thrice plus, it's a trend, and we have that trend historically. I try not to think
Gilmour could go to a different club and come like Kevin De Bruyne and come back to strike us.
What do you think? Is that good? I think it's that good. I wouldn't be surprised.
You think
so? In him. Yeah.
He's gonna go to another club and then I don't know, an Arsenal, and then be like, "What's up?" When
you know what? I hope he does.
That will actually break my.
Because coach, that's best for the player. You know, he would never get that at Chelsea.
Yeah, we don't have to be selfish on that. Go ahead, Max.
De Bruyne played 2 games for us. De Bruyne, we didn't let him go. If he's still staying, the guy will be still on the bench for us. The guy will be rubbish. It's all about the opportunity. You know, once the door opens, another one closes. You know, vice versa. If he stayed, it wouldn't have happened.
He knew how good he was. He's a
but more importantly, Roger. Gilmour, he wanted to leave.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Gilmour is just not fit for the Premier League. I think it's the same thing with Ty. Like Jorginho is an exception to the rule. Kante is an exception to the rule. I think Jorginho uses like his play style a bit differently to get rid of his physicality. Gilmour will do great at Brighton.
Go ahead.
I'm all for it, but he's not gonna thrive at Chelsea if he stays. Maybe come back. Maybe.
I watched Mohamed Salah play for us, and he admitted in an interview that he was not the same. Not just player, but person. He was immature. He didn't become professional till I think he moved to Italy, if I'm not mistaken. And he said he learned a lot there, and he grew up. But yeah, and I saw the interview with him, and he was so honest. He said, "I'm nowhere near the player, and more importantly, the person that I am now. I became a professional. I learned how to be professional." He said, "I wasn't when I was at Chelsea. I was a lost person." He said, "I was a fish out of water." He said this. So, but you could tell, and you look. The one thing that impressed me about Salah when he did play for us, boy, was he fast. That's the one thing that stood out. He was a speedy Gonzalez.
The Arsenal goal.
Sorry, sir.
Remember the Arsenal goal, the 6-1? Was it the 7th?
I can't.
Yeah, he came off the bench.
Yeah, I'll never forget that goal.
But my point is, with De Bruyne, you could tell he was world class, and it's because him and Mourinho, they had egos and they clashed.
Yeah,
and De Bruyne insisted that he have X amount of starting games because he knew he was good. He knew. So, you know, and that's a bit cocky. You know, if I'm the coach and someone says that to me, but then again, do you talk the talk or do you walk the walk? And he walked the walk, but Mourinho was too bloody stubborn. You know, it's like his ego. It's like, I'm the special one. You know,
the ego clash.
The arrogance. You know, it's like bite your tongue and coach him and make him your own player. This is.
I still love Mourinho.
See, I do and I don't. It's just the fact that I love De Bruyne, and the fact that he's not wearing a Chelsea badge hurts.
Yeah, that does.
Eddie, how are you doing? Eddie, how are you doing? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Brilliant. Let's bring you up to measure again where we're at right now. Let me start you. I think the most important one, just this one alone. I want to get your thoughts on this one. Whether you think we should get him try to get him or leave him where he is. After all, he is at his dream club. Let him remain there. Something. So, do you think we should bring him back, or we should just move on from him?
I think if he was under the old ownership, I say Hazard has a chance of maybe coming back because of the emotional attachment, with the old owners. But I think the ship has sailed for Hazard as far as I'm concerned with coming back to Chelsea. I think it's failed. Hazard, I don't think Hazard that we're going to get back. Is it the Hazard that left us? Obviously, no.
Yeah, that's a straight one. That's a straight one. There, go ahead.
So he's gonna disrupt the development or whatever we are planning, because I don't see this new ownership having plans going forward with Hazard. They have their own plan, and I don't think Hazard is fulfilling the picture coming back. I mean, if Hazard was to be like Ronaldo, in terms of commercial, yeah, they say yeah because of the money they won't get. But that's that. Is it that kind of big player that will get them that kind of money? I don't think so.
Whether they play well or not, yeah. Your point is understood quite well. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Let me ask you this, Matt, and let me start with you, OG. This lineup here again. This is the third day. Let's see if we can get it completed. This is 4:33. Again, I can just move this like this so it's clear to people what they're looking at. But under normal circumstances, the wing back, the full backs are usually ahead a notch or two. And this one, it's not flat. I think this is understandable. Your thoughts on this selection here? Would you have done anything differently if again?
Move us to the side, Coach. Move us to the side.
I've given up on Cheeks as well. I've just,
Sorry, what do you say, Matt?
No, so just move us to the side.
Sorry, Matt.
Sorry, OG. Hang on. Sorry. Move it to the side so I can see the lineup.
Oh, yeah. Apologies.
Who's on the middle? J5? Kante.
Yeah, we had J5 in the middle, but we started another argument yesterday because we analyze, we look at how Potter plays, and then we say, okay, what do we do? I think it was Eddie that came in and said, okay, it's not going to be Jorginho. But for me, again, I still think it's going to be Jorginho, but we'll see what Potter does. Was you who was speaking, OG? Was it you?
Whatever, Matt. Chime in just said Matt said he couldn't see it. I'll say Loftus-Cheek. I said I mean, we got no better replacement at this time, but
what about Gallagher or Mount?
Mount, I don't know. The thing about Mount, he needs. I don't know. Maybe he needs to do what Salah done and find himself, because I thought maybe he'll play good for England. That's what I thought. I thought, oh, Mount's going to do something for England and shut all us Chelsea fans that have been hating on him. But honestly, I don't. If Mount doesn't have a good season, if he doesn't get up to 10 GA in all competitions by January time, I don't see him reaching the same stats he got last season, which was 21 GA, and he got those stats, and it wasn't beautiful football. So I thought with the beautiful football, he'll get better. He'll look better. It's still too early. We do have to see, as Bobby said earlier. But I'll play Gallagher rather than Cheeks, just because Loftus-Cheeks, every time we play him, every time he just plays. The only game I rated him at was the Tottenham game. Yeah, so I know all of you gave him.
For me, Tottenham game, Madrid game, Southampton game, but go ahead.
Madrid was last season, yeah. Southampton one, I didn't rate him. I don't know what everyone saw. He played decent. Kovacic is the red that came on and made a difference. That's the only good thing from that Southampton game. But we don't really have anyone else we can put there. Maybe Gallagher, but then you have all the Gallagher haters. If he makes a mistake or does something, he'll also get it. We just don't have a super what. We don't have an A+ player in that position. It's a bit sad, to be honest.
Sad indeed. Matt, how about you? Would you have done anything differently here?
Yeah, no, I love the Cheeks finish. I said that last year. I said this time last year. I said the guy's finished. The guy's rubbish. We're just giving too many chances. Like, players are used to having one game to prove themselves to the academy, but when they come to this high level, we give them 4 or 5 seasons. He's been here since Sarri days, and after the injury, he hasn't been the same. For the sake of his career, I said send him to Lazio, play him in a 4-3-3 with Sarri. Sarri will get the best out of him. This guy is not fit for this club, and we've got better options. I would rather play Chukwuemeka and give him an opportunity than give someone like Loftus-Cheek, who's already had the opportunity for multiple years and hasn't shown it. I think the guy's maybe been okay at best, but he's nothing to excel in, nothing that excites me from him. It's like bringing Hazard back. We're bringing Hazard back, but we know the guy's finished. Like, we know there's nothing new in him. So it's the same with Loftus-Cheek. I'd rather give some success to the youngsters who deserve to start. If we play a 4, Cucurella has to be on this pitch, like wherever it is. If we're playing a 3, Cucurella, Chilwell. If we're playing a 4, Cucurella left back. Chilwell's a brilliant player. I want Chilwell and Cucurella to play on the same pitch together. But if it's either between Chilwell or Cucurella's the man to start. Cucurella's a more overall player, and he can do attacking wise, he can do defensive wise, and he's more fit for Graham Potter. Obviously, Graham Potter's played with him for a whole season, gave him the best player of the year. So I'll definitely put Cucurella in this lineup. And yeah, Jorginho starts over Kante for me. Kante, Has people forgot that Sarri said that Kante can't play as a DM? Like, do people forget this logic? That's why I've said if it's not Kante, then it's Zakaria, right? But I don't see us playing a 4 because we don't have that DM. I think Jorginho can do a DM. However, he can't do it for a continuously amount of period. He can't do it for 15 weeks, 12. He can only do maybe one here and there. Like yesterday. He did it for Italy yesterday. If he was to play Chelsea tomorrow, can he do it? I don't think so. So, but I don't see Kante playing whatsoever. And my man's in goals. Yes. Keep him in goals. He ain't going anywhere. Edouard Alcendi, he's out. He's getting sold. Kepa in. Yes, go.
Yeah, I think it will be Kepa for a while, most especially now that Mendy is injured and he returned from the Senegal national team camp. But that's, by the way, Chris CMC says, "Sub Coach OG, the panel, and y'all. How are you doing? I hope you're well, and thank you for finding time to join." DJ says, "Big up Kachila, the panel, and everyone in the chat." Here, DJ says again, "Get Jeff 5 to Barcelona on the free next season." Next summer. Again, it won't be up to us. It's up to him then. Like I've said before, even before we got to where we are right now, I've argued it's looking like he wants to leave on a free because he's serious about staying at Chelsea. They'd be talking about a new contract for him right now. Thiago Silva wants a new contract for 2 more years at Chelsea. All your thoughts on this? Me, I hope, again, I hope, Todd Bowley gives him that until he is 40. Here's the thing. Hopefully, Todd Bowley will be too money conscious that he's not going to consider that. Thiago Silva means more to these players that he played with on and off the pitch. We can keep him. Like I made a video I made 2 years ago, actually, where I argued we should keep him beyond his playing career. Keep him in a capacity of a coach, a mentor, defensive trainer, and all that. He has that pedigree, to impart, that winning mentality he has on the younger ones. Again, you can say we don't have anybody in the team right now that can do that for us. He's the only guy that has that pedigree that when he speaks, everybody listens. Because who at the club right now can measure, his trophy cabinet? Nobody there. So, but that alone, again, will suffice if I want to really make that argument. He's an exemplary professional. Again, he's a leader too. So again, I don't know. To me, I'd say give it to him. But your thoughts? Let me start with you, Matt.
Well, Jorginho.
No,
Thiago Silva. That he wants a 2-year contract.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we go year by year. Like we have to give it to the end of the season to then dictate it because I mean, the guy's, I think for me, already nearly a legend in the books. But it's like if he cannot continuously play next season, then I don't know. I think we take it year by year. Like we can come back here next May and maybe dictate it again. I wouldn't dictate anything now because maybe hopefully not. Touch wood. Maybe he has some big injury we don't know of, or he just gets old because it's his age catching up to him. And I think if we overuse him this year, like we did last year, I don't think there's one season left for him. But I said last season he's not going to be playing this season, and he somehow has. So let's see what happens at the end of the season.
Roger, what do you think? And OG, when you get a chance, share the link to your channel. Matt, again, when you get a chance, share the link to your channel. Let's help Matt and get to 1,000 as soon as possible. He deserves that. Please, again, he will share the link to his channel in a bit. Let's help him get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. I'd really appreciate it if you can do that. We have 34 likes. We have 56 votes. That's every time I do that mathematics, it just doesn't make sense. If you took a second to participate in the poll, it takes just a second as well to like the stream. And the more you like the stream, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and help us reach a wider audience. So please do like the video if you haven't, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Roger, again, your turn regarding the Thiago Silva asking for a 2-year extension.
I think what the previous gentleman, was it OG, was saying, I concur. But basically, we have to use him very judiciously, very wisely. He can't really be playing more than once a week for 90 minutes. That's impossible. Maybe because of this luxury of having 5 subs, maybe use him for 60 to 70 minutes one game, and maybe come on for 30 minutes the next if we're playing twice a week, hypothetically. He actually, I think studies have shown people as they age, after the 70th minute, their muscle injuries I'm talking about, not impact injuries, seem to increase dramatically. So I think we have to be far more judicious and wise in how we use players, not just him, other players also, but him specifically, because he is a Rolls Royce at his position. He really is.
I'd ask you for an ID if you didn't call him that.
Sorry?
If you didn't say he's a Rolls Royce of a player, I'd ask you for your ID. Yeah.
It's true, though. He exemplifies being at the top. And I didn't want him at our club. I thought he was too old to play. But look,
here's the thing: he's so important. Even though we've signed for Fana, we have Koulibaly. He's so important to this team. You could argue the reason we played badly against Zagreb was his absence. He's a defender, but there's a way he commands the game without speaking, with where he passes the ball to.
Yes,
he
can develop our youth like a Chalobah. The value that you can apply if he stays and doesn't play or plays a very limited role, with the exposure, the amount of wisdom that he will transfer by either verbally or physically observing him, is priceless to a player's development, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Let me catch up with the chat. I'll come back to that. I'll highlight this question in case anybody else want to talk about it. Again, Glenn says again, lateness is greatness. A big up, legends. A big up to you too, brother. Again, we're glad you found time to join us, even though we don't have with 2 hours 34 minutes into the show, which means it will be ending soon. Doctor again, Paco leaving the club as per Matt Law. I didn't see that, and I don't know who Dr. Paco is. Is it the team doctor, the first team doctor? I don't know him. Can you elaborate a bit? Let me see. Again, it says, like Phantom of Many Topics would say, again, Todd Bowley doesn't care about your legacy. If you're too old, you got to go. I get that argument, but in football, again, you have to show players your loyalty matters. How well you've done for us matters. Sometimes we can sacrifice a bit to accommodate you. Like if, for instance, if we start letting players go because they hit 30, then some players will refuse to come to us with the fear of the moment they hit 30, they're not sure what's going to happen next. Again, I don't know if that argument makes sense, but I hope it does to you. Again, here's Matt's link. Please, guy, let's help our brother. And again, follow Chelsea. More importantly, a fellow Chelsea supporter, get to 1,000 subscribers. He deserves that. So if you haven't, go and subscribe to the channel and be sure to let him know. I sent to Sam at CFCOG. Be sure to go check out his channel and subscribe and let him know I sent you. Thank you very much for that. Anything else to address here? Nothing. Again, Roger, you've spoken about this about Thiago Silva. Let me bring it back again before we go to building the lineup. I think it's this one here. What do you think? OG, have you spoken about the Thiago Silva question here?
Listen, you guys have all hit good points. I mean, for me, I look at the international side of football quite a bit to see how real a leader, how real a man he is. And Thiago gets so much respect and love from Brazil. Just that alone, it kind of gives us more evidence that he's deserving of something beyond just a player role. He could be like how Czech was a bit. Maybe an ambassador coach role afterwards and then a real position after that. Honestly, like he's way different than Aspi. Aspi really needed that speed. Sometimes I'm shocked someone like Azpilicueta doesn't, take any PEDs, some steroids, boost his game, because it's a big feeling, a big, gutting feeling for one day waking up not as good as you were the day before. Fighters talk about it all the time. I'm always doing my fighting stuff as well, boxing, MMA. But you age overnight. And Thiago, until he ages overnight, we all see that, let him sign another year or two, man. He deserves to pay. We've been paying managers our whole lives for no reason. Let us pay a player.
Yeah, I think they should give it to him. Again, I was seeing a perfect example of how we seem lost at the back when the entire team seemed lost. But that's, by the way, AD, your turn. what do you think about DJ's question? Whether the club should offer him, what we think about the whole thing?
Yes, I think Thiago Silva is a legend of the club, and then he's going to really serve the club in other capacities after playing his playing career. So he's one of the few players that we can say we can't afford to let go. He has to be there to give in another role, the role model. He will mold that defender, the young defenders we're trying to bring, the Fofana, Chalobah, and all. He's going to be a big help for them going forward. So we just have to. I agree with giving him 1 year contract, but most of these players don't like getting only 1 year contract, especially when they know they're still fit. Like looking at Thiago Silva, in him, he knows he's still fit. He's not injury. His injury is not that of a concern yet. So his record is not bad. So giving him 1 year might want to tilt his opinion or decision moving away to maybe Brazil or somewhere where they. Because I tell you, there are very few clubs that will not offer Thiago Silva 2 year contract, even at his age. So, but I think we just have to keep him beyond his playing career if he wants it.
We should. I think we should. DJ, again, you just arrived on time. Your topic, it was you that put that in the chat. What do you think?
Yeah.
And big up, by the way, apologies. Again, I hope you're doing well.
I'm all good, thanks, Kachela. Big up to everyone in the chat, and big up to you all. Yeah, at least the reason why I still Thiago Silva for another 2 more years is I think we've all seen the way the guy can play. I mean, he's even at his age, he just seems to be the kind of player that the right space, he's in the right time, right time always, compared to the other players, his experience. The guy can still score goals from defense when he's from corner kicks. From corner kicks, he can still score goals. I just think he's so vital to this team, and I think you got a player like him, a team, and you're a Chalobah or you're a Fofana and players like that. Looking at a player like him, you can learn so much from him. And I think, people are saying he wants to go back to Brazil. From what I've seen, what I've read, and what I've heard, he's very
that's
much
more like a tradition to Brazilian players.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
It is. He's very much happy in England at the moment, and so is his missus. They're very much settled here, and I think, for me, I personally would think after his time of football is playing, I wouldn't just let him go. I personally would look at putting him maybe in some kind of capacity at the football club, maybe making like Arsenal have gone. I know I'm sorry about using Arsenal as a what do you call it, but like they've gone and brought Idu in there. Maybe put him in some kind of a capacity in there. Either maybe put him in a scouting team. Because let's be honest, if you're going to put someone like a Ross Turnbull in part of your scouting team, I don't understand. This guy's nowhere near Thiago Silva levels, mate. Yeah, in their different positions, I get that, right? Yeah. So if you're gonna put someone like him in there, yeah, put Thiago Silva in there instead. Yeah, mate. The guy's got more power of pulling plays. Plays alike would just look at him and know what kind of a legend he is. And we've got more of a puller playing a lot of these South American players coming over as well. So that's my thought on it all, about keeping him at Chelsea for that reason. And also, if he wants to get another role within the team, but I still think he's got so much still in him to still play the game. You just look at the past players. You look at Ronaldo. You look at Ibrahimovic. These guys are in different positions, but they can still do it at the top level, mate, at their ages still. Right? And I think that this guy being a defender, I think he's one of the best in the world for me personally. I think he's one of the best around, and I don't care anyone says. People go about Van Dijk and players like that. I honestly, I think he's better than Van Dijk personally.
Honestly, I think he's a more intelligent player than Van Dijk is.
Yeah,
that's the word, man.
Yeah, if anybody likes, they can say I'm biased, but no, I'm not being biased. He's a very intelligent player.
With him, then when they're missing him, Brazil goes to shambles. Everyone remembers that 7-1 game, 7-1 defeat. Everyone says the same thing. Oh, Thiago Silva was banned for that game. If Thiago Silva is playing, he's that much of a general, bro. He's a watch when they up.
Yeah, and I think he's got his knowledge to the and his knowledge to the game. So I keep saying about putting him into another capacity afterwards. Maybe the knowledge this guy is going to bring and come with him. I mean, this guy can pull other. As I keep saying, when players look around when they join the football club, they look around at what's at the football club and who's doing all the what do you call it. And as I said, give him some kind of a job at Chelsea. I think his name alone can pull players to the football club. And I think that's the thing that could use for the future, especially if Todd Bowley's looking to build this young team that he wants to go forward. Let's be honest, we don't seem to want to be buying superstars anymore. All right, we're going for the younger generation players now to build a team. So that's what he's looking to do for the future. I personally will put Thiago Silva in there, give him a chance. I mean, come on, as I said, you're putting
they need
Ross
an experienced
Turnbull,
head. Go ahead.
Come on, you know what I mean? Ross Turnbull, and then you're putting this guy. Nah, mate, no, can't forget that. Allow that, seriously.
Oh my goodness! Here again, Christian F.C says +1 for this staying. Just quickly, do you think he would take a 1-year extension if he's asking for 2? I don't think he will, because there won't be shortage of clubs. That again, the type of Newcastle would take him up for their project immediately, because that's when you're just starting a project such as that of Newcastle United. A player like him would do them a world of good. But do you think he'd take 1 year extension?
I think if he, I think what you got to remember with Thiago Silva, I think, guys, and I don't, he never comes across to me as a guy who's greedy, right? And I think he's got his love for the club, the love of the fans love him as well. I think he would stay. I think he would honestly stay, even though offer a year. And say Todd Bowley was the same, say, look, Thiago, I'll give you a year plus another year on top of that of a roll-on extension after that. Would you stay? I think he would do that. I think he would stay on the capacity because, as you said, Newcastle project is big because obviously they're just starting out now, right? But still, if you ask me at this moment in time, Chelsea's a more pull than Newcastle is, regardless of all their wealth they got. Chelsea's still more of a pull. We're more like to get to Europe every season than they are. London in general itself. Yeah.
It's like little Brazil there nowadays in West London. It's like little Brazil, West and South London, just Brazilians.
That's it. And you guys, I don't know if you guys do realise that. I don't know if you know, but both David Luiz and William own their own restaurant in
they
co-owners of their own restaurant.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. So many things ongoing there. You know, I mean, there's so many things ongoing to keep Thiago Silva at Chelsea. I reckon he'll take 1 year personally, with a roll on after that, and then give him a capacity role after that within the football club. I think he would stay. It depends on how badly he wants to get to Brazil. And the other thing you guys have got to also take into consideration, Todd Bowley's looking to buy a club in Portugal and buy a club in Brazil, right? He might even take him and say, okay, why do you not go and manage or go and scout in Brazil and then come back to Chelsea when you want? There's all those options there open. Do you get me? It's not like we're stuck, he's going to be gone for good. There's options there that we can always do with Thiago Silva, should it need be, for the future. Do you get me? So
I agree with you. Yeah, let me catch up with what we have in the chat. Then I think we'll make it hybrid now. We'll plug in 2 positions with the left empty and then analyze the entire lineup, see if there's any need for change. Again, I remember it was Glenn that says sometimes he played with 2 CMs. They're not... which is more a bit of this structure works with 2 CMs, with just 2 guys that are, the inside a bit, not on the flanks. Sorry?
All the 3 midfielders are much better at defending than they are at attacking.
All of these guys?
Yeah, all of them. Like if
again, we'll come back to it. Yeah, just 1 second. His massive experience nullifies the age thing for me. Such an important personality to have. Such an important personality to have in the dressing room. Not even experience. Experience, is a big factor, but his intelligence. Again, I marvel at that. Same thing as Koulibaly. Here we have afternoon, guys. I think breaking games for Chelsea is a blessing. Let Potter sort out his formation and starting 11. Old Havertz Kai Hart said, "Nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing it well." Your name sounds like a riddle, but I enjoy trying to say it. Again, people, please keep liking the video. Again, we don't even have we just have 36 likes, but that's fine. But if you haven't, take a second to like the video. We have 61 votes on the poll, so we should have something close to that. But that's, by the way, AD, have you spoken about what we saw about Thiago Silva? Just we quickly try to see if we can plug in the new positions left and then, analyze complete all together. Okay, looks like Roger moved away from his desk. How about you again? Okay, go ahead.
So what was the question? I apologize.
DJ shared something. Let me say again. I think you may have read it online too. that Thiago Silva wants a new contract for 2 more years at Chelsea.
I say we have to go year by year. Listen, his body, look, the 38 is the new 30, right? I get it. But I don't think this is sustainable if he's played irresponsibly too many minutes. We have to use him wisely, and let's see how he finishes this year. If he continues and is fit and is not affected, and we don't overplay him, then sure, let's give him a year extension. 2 years, I think, that's pushing it.
Yeah, and for the poll, before we move on, 52% says bring Hazard back. 48% says no, let him stay at his dream club, and 62 votes isn't a bad sample size. I think it suffices. But that's by the way. Let me see what else do we have here. We have just give me a second. I don't think nothing serious there. Good morning to you, to Jampot Entertainment. I hope you're doing well. So, DJ, let me start while I'm still with you up there. What do you think? The two, you could say two, the left wing and right wing players. Who do you think plays there? What are the players you think will play there?
Is this a team you're lining up for the game when they come back from international duty, or
no? This is just overall. If he plays with a 4-3-3 formation.
Yeah, for me, obviously for me, Raheem Sterling's got to be in there. For sure, is one of them, and the other one.
So where the problem lies is on the right hand side, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. The left is Raheem Sterling. On the right side is the one. Who would I put on the right hand side at the moment? That's a good word. Mason Mount, I wouldn't put. But listen, Mason. There's a lot of people come for Mason Mount. Yeah, all I say is a guy. I'm not one of those who's going to come across for Mason Mount. I think the guy needs to be rested. I think for some games, I think he's going to be getting. I think he won't. For me, he won't be that person. I'm trying to think who I put in that position. That's a tough one. I mean, you've got.
It is. It's not simple. That's where a lot of work. Portugal do a lot of work. But the names there should be probably Mount. Mount can play there too. Let's just add Mount to the list.
I'll put Mount over Ziyech and Pulisic personally at the moment.
And we still have Ziyech, so I'm adding Ziyech to the list. Pulisic.
I'd put Mount there instead. Yeah, even Mount over them. For me, Mount will be over them as well. I keep saying it, and again, I've got nothing against Ziyech, and I've got nothing against Pulisic, right? But I think every time those guys have come on, or they have started games, they've made no impression on me this season. I know Mason Mount's had a bad game, but at least the difference is for me, Mason Mount actually I think Mason Mount would raise his game more than those two would do if it came to getting out of this little slur that he's in at the moment. For me, he would raise his game more than those two. I'd probably put Mason out there personally because there's no other one else. I mean, there's also got to talk about of Havertz as well. But Havertz, that's not his position. Let's be honest. I mean, I wouldn't put him now. Probably more likely put. Yeah, let's just say Mason Mount there. What would you put Mason Mount?
Okay, we'll see what the people in the chat do. We'll spend a million years analyzing and plug and play, and then the vote comes back in. It's a different thing. We'll see.
Tough one, again,
Bobby, your thought for the right hand side? We can say for certain the left hand side will be Sterling for sure.
Right, so, we're talking of the attack, right?
Yeah. We did Broya yesterday because we knew this wasn't going to be easy. We just did Broya quickly to round off with it. Again, but everybody on the panel would have their say on whether they think Broya start. But go ahead.
We have 5 substitutes. To me, straight after the international break, have a go with Sterling on the left, Broya down the middle, Aubameyang on the right.
Auba can play that. He hit the start again. That's why one of the things I like about him the most. But I don't see Potter playing Auba and Broya at the same time. If he plays them at the same time, then I'd see Aubameyang playing centrally. While again, Broya stays on the flank. Again, that's my thought. We'll see what those in the chat thinks. How about you, Eddie? What do you think?
Yes, I agree with that. We touched on that briefly yesterday. saying he could play both Broya and Aubameyang. So that wouldn't be a bad.
No, it won't be a bad thing, but I doubt he'd do that if we have, wing players on the bench who's been crying for game time. Plus, yeah, I think it will make better sense to play them. If he decides to play them too, I think Aubameyang will start essentially. That's what I think. I'm not sure. Potter is known to be very, very unorthodox. You can't even predict what he does in every game. But go ahead.
Yeah, if he doesn't play Aubameyang there, then I don't think we have a lot there to say. It might be maybe Mason Mount or Kai Havertz. I don't know. Don't know. It's that right side is difficult. It's a difficult one. The right side. See the way it's easy to set to the left side, but that right side is a problem area for Chelsea.
Yeah,
there's nobody that is nailing down.
A good problem to have if those guys are doing well.
Yes. So, but they're not doing well.
So your choice there.
Yeah, and then so Aubameyang can do. I go with Aubameyang on that side. If Aubameyang is fit enough, but if not, I say Mason Mount. I am going with Mason Mount.
Yeah, there's a chance of this Mount, but I don't know. You could say the reason Thomas Tuchel played a Mount predominantly in that area because of his energy and pressing ability. But let's see what happens. Again, how about you, OG? Your thoughts?
Yes. Now, honestly, I'm looking at the polls. I'll just go for Ziyech just because he played well yesterday. That's it. Mount didn't play well. Ziyech played well. Mount will probably play a little bit against Germany. Don't expect anything good. Ziyech is playing against Uruguay.
Okay, so you picking the lineup thinking it's about the game against Crystal Palace?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
No, the exercise is about when he plays four at the back, who starts. We're not looking. Yeah, we're not particularly looking at any game.
I mean, if Aubameyang was fit and healthy 3 months down the line, his face is not swollen up and his jaw's not all cracked and he's all healthy by his own account because he even said he's on field 100. I'll put Aubameyang there, and I'll probably give Pulisic a chance on the right.
Well, okay, we'll see what those in the chat does. Like I said, we'll analyze for a year. When the result comes back, you see something different there. Roger, what do you think? The right wing man there. Who do you think it will be?
I know it's not going to be popular, but I would like to see, based on the fact that Loftus-Cheek is playing in the number 8 there, I would like to see Kai play there or Mount.
Oh, I did not even put Kai's name.
Kai, sir, drop down and give me 20. Drop down now and give me 20, sir.
I did not. I will redo the poll. It just doesn't. It wouldn't make sense if Kai isn't there.
Bite your tongue, sir.
Yeah, that's how tight it is on that right-hand side.
I know Matt. Stop smiling, mate. I know Matt believes that the players are average. I actually see their potential because you don't reach that many finals and play to that level by having average. Yes, you can do so by locking down the back, like having a great goalkeeper and a very frugal defense. Excuse me. But I believe that they haven't clicked, and I believe Kai is going to turn out to be a great player. Question is it for us or for another team?
I think it will be for us.
Yeah, I hope so.
Again, if you paid attention to what he's done at Chelsea, he's always the guy to call upon to go play in a particular position where we have a problem. Yeah, that hasn't helped. Even at that, he's done quite well. That's how I see it.
I rate him highly, but that's just me. That doesn't mean anything. This is just my 2, or shall I say 3 cents with inflation now. I would say Kai or Mount or Gallagher even. Like Loftus-Cheek in that position number 8. I would like to see. We have Loftus-Cheek, Gallagher, Mount, and then we have a lot of players depth, which is a good thing. Like Chukwuemeka, in the midfield. We have so much depth.
Yeah, but because like Bobby alluded to yesterday, Chukwuemeka, you count that as a known. We're not sure what to do with him right now until we see him play in a match.
Yeah. Truly, we need 10 to 20 games under Potter in the Premier League, not just League Cup games. I want to see 10 to 20 games under him to see what he does, to observe and establish what's his MO, modus operandi. Does he play more in this formation? What players does he utilize? What passing patterns are taught on the training ground? You know, this is he's the X factor, the unknown quantity. So it's very premature for us to assume, but let's just assume for the sake of it. And I have a lot of faith in Potter. Even though I wanted Tuchel to stay, as you did, I would love to see Kai play there. That Sterling, Brozier, Kai, or Mount, this is depth. You know, this is good team, especially when you have James. My only concern is James's backup, good backup. You know, because let's say you can't use him for every game for 90 minutes, then you're going to see a drop off in all likelihood in the quality of passes. That's my other main concern.
But Chalobah could come and learn, hopefully.
No, I love Chalobah. Yeah, I mean, I like Chalobah a lot. I like Loftus-Cheek. He can play that position. We have depth. But is it the quality of depth, though? I mean, quality of passes. This is the question. You know, we need to start being clinical. That's our only, when I say only, like, it's just nothing, you know. But that goal is massive. And the fact that we can't even hit the target most of the time. But having said that, if you look at the times that we have hit the target, the defense is because they're playing a low block. They put their bodies in front, and the goalkeeper has a worldie, his best game of the season or his career. That has also been the case. So you have to take that into account. That has invariably been the case. The fact that we don't have ticky-tack passing like a City or a Spanish national side, that to me is because we change the front lineup so often that the chemistry is not built. Look at Liverpool. Their front three for 4 or 5 years was Marnie, Salah, and Bobby Firmino. They invariably, that was 95% of the time in the Premier League, if they could play healthy, and they did. That's why they built that chemistry up. That's why they were so prolific. So we haven't been that the last 18 months. We have chopped and changed. And a lot of it's due to injury. I get it. I understand. Or someone being off form. But they need to play consistently, even if it's for 20 games. They need to build. And if that doesn't come to fruition, then you move on. But you can't do it over a course of 1 or 2 or 3 games. It has to be established. And unfortunately, we play in a league where we have to win today.
Yeah,
well, we got a lot.
Do I make sense, chaps?
Yeah, sure. So DJ, your thoughts on the two wingers, the right wing, the left wing. Sterling, we can all agree, but the right wing. Let me see what the chat is doing here. It's looking more like it's going to be Mount, 50% Mount, 25% Kai, Ziyech, 70%, Pulisic, 8%. But DJ, your thoughts on the right wing back position? Not right wing back, right wing position. I think that's where, again, it's not the selection isn't going to be easy. And there's a chance actually Loftus-Cheek plays for the forward where this number 10 is. Why he may well, again, I don't, at the same time, as much as I think he may decide to play Mount here and then Loftus-Cheek up there instead, because Loftus-Cheek is more dangerous when he's close to the box there. But that's my thinking until I see about 2-3 games, and maybe you have a pattern to be able to predict what he does. But DJ, your thoughts on the number 10 position there, which is the right wing.
As I said, for me, it's got to be Mason Mount in there or Kai Havertz. I mean, the reason why I wasn't putting Kai Havertz in there is because I know you forgot to put him in that poll. The reason why I didn't put him in that position is because that's realistically, it's not his natural position. And if we're going by players by natural position, I mean,
so where is his natural position?
For me, I think when we saw him against Leverkusen, the guy was playing, I do believe he was playing either behind the striker or playing off the striker, or he was coming from the attacking midfielder. He was coming from one of those. He was playing then for Leverkusen. That's why I see him being more effective as a number 8. Yeah, he's more effective, I think, personally, as number 8.
So many number 8s. We have
that's the thing.
Some of them, aren't traditionally number 8, but because Thomas Tuchel has played them quite a lot there, maybe some people start calling them 8s. But go ahead, DJ.
To be fair, Leverkusen, I don't know if he even had. I think he was just allowed to roam freely, to be honest, because of what a player that he is. Because he can play in new positions and he can score goals from wherever it might be. I think he got that free roaming role, didn't he, at Leverkusen? Sometimes he played him from that attacking midfield role from deep, or he'd play him, or he'd play him or he'd just say, look, just go and play off the number 9. But for me, look. I for one, I rate Kai Havertz very highly, and I know a lot of people are already got on this case already, and I've said it already before. This guy, you don't become a bad player overnight. This guy for me is quality, and I think he deserves a team. He deserves a spot in the team. But at this moment in time, like a lot of other players, he's just going for a form of form. Same with Mason Mount. When you've got players that are difficult, that have got no form at the moment, you then have to say, okay, bench some of these players, bench them, and bring some other players to come in and do their job. But the players that seem to come in for them don't seem to be doing a job either. So we're in a bit of a situation where you're thinking, what do you do? Who do you go for? So for me, if it comes to in that kind of situation, I probably would pay. If that's the only position he can play, I still think Mason Mount probably is better for me on that side. And you probably play Kai Havertz either in Kov or Loftus-Cheek's position for me personally, but that's just my sort of give him the free role. But it depends on how we're going to set up.
Interesting,
because he did have that free role at Leverkusen, as I keep saying. He had a normal position, or he was just allowed to do what he wanted to do. That's why he was so effective. So that's why I think he could do the same at Chelsea, but then you got to change your whole. I mean, who used to play that way? Where we used to get I can't remember what manager it was under, but we used to give a player a free role, and he could just go and roam where he wanted to because he was always effective. I can't remember who it was, and who the manager was. And it was Hazard, but there was another player as well before Hazard, mate. And I'm going back. Oh, before that, yeah, I'm going back. We used to give that person a free role as well, and he was just to go and be effective for us. That's the kind of thing I'd say for Kai Havertz would do, but for that actual position you're talking about, yeah, not Ray. It was another one. No, I'm going. I'm going
just
after Ray
joking.
Wilkins, bro. I know you are, bro. I know you are. But no, for me, look, as I said, it'll be Mason Mount. Mason Mount, as I said.
I could have said Chopper Harris.
He played in Army. He was too busy hacking players down, bro.
Oh, wasn't he? He was brutal.
He was, mate, in defence. Go on, anyway.
So again, I'm going to bring DJ back to this one. That's a fight I'd like to see him fight. Leao is overrated, but let me get all the things we have in the chat here.
What?
Again, good day, Mr. Moderator. It's been a while. Yeah, the Prince, I hope you're doing well. How have you been? Please do let me know you're okay. We seriously need someone like Eden. I watched in the field of playing. In fact, I'm seeing the real Eden. I think he's improved his fitness otherwise, and he's doing quite well. That's why you can say, indirectly telling them, I need to play more or I'll leave again. Putin Havertz, there you go. I've been saying where if you're going to show up today, and there you go, he has one already. Putin Havertz at right wing, it's just giving him the perfect excuse to disappear as he usually does. Again, when he reckons he's being played out of position. But in this structure, where do you think he is more suitable? I want to know the Bluetooth again. Tell me, bro, and I hope you're doing well. Jampot says Havertz is very young and is already proven that he's a top player. His form may not be, again, consistent, but I can name a lot of players from Chelsea who wasn't consistent. You could also argue rotation, why, again, you can say versatile players plus rotation. Those two things are makes the manager's job easier. Again, you can say rotation was key to what Thomas Tuchel was able to achieve at Chelsea. But at the same time, rotation, you could say it deters a proper development of chemistry between players. Especially, we had a lot of new players. We have a lot of new players from under Lampard that hasn't even played together for a while, and it got worse under Thomas Tuchel in terms of changing personnel in the front three here and there. But I get your point. So DJ, coming back to you, let me start you with a Rafael Leao question. again, Santiago Munoz thinks that he's overrated.
Listen, everyone has their opinions, mate. I totally disagree with that. He's not overrated. He's a top player. And
Are we talking about Leao?
Leao from AC Milan.
Rafael Leao, Go
this
ahead.
guy, I watched this guy play. I've watched his career, in fact, from when he was playing Sporting Lisbon to when he got his move to. Because obviously I follow a lot of the Portuguese football, and he's not overrated. This guy's a talent, and and I think for me, if we can get him, there's still a lot of talk in January to try and bring him in. I mean January, but if he was so overrated, Manchester City have now thrown their hats in the ring for him. That's how much this guy is talented. I mean, for Pep Guardiola to come out and say, for Man City to now also show an interest in this guy, it just tells you where we are with this player. Real Madrid, I heard, also maybe looking at him in the summer as well. So there are clubs out there. Barcelona have been mentioned as well. So there are top clubs that are looking at this guy, and the fact that Chelsea have shown interest in him, and I do believe this whole meeting that Todd Bowley had with Jorge Mendes before the start of the transfer window, or in the transfer window, we had this meeting. He was talking about a lot of these Portuguese players, and he was one of the names mentioned, along with Ronaldo and João Felix from Atletico Madrid. And for me, look, if we can get him in, I tell you what, Chelsea fans, this guy. All I'll say to you guys is this guy's going to come on board at Chelsea. I mean, there's a lot of talk of saying bringing Eden Hazard back. I would always say I love Eden Hazard. If we can bring him back, I'll be happy. But at the same time, I don't want to tarnish the guy's legendary status at Chelsea. Because if he comes back and things start going wrong, the fans are just going to switch, as some will do. I personally would let him stay where he is. Personally, if we can get Leao in, I'll bring him in and bring him in ahead. Because not only is he tall, he can score goals. He can cut in from anywhere. You can't just play in one position. He's a good crosser off the ball as well, and he's got a good shot from distance. And that's the kind of thing we're lacking in this team at the moment, a cutting edge. And I think if he comes in, he'll give that cutting edge, and he'll provide a lot for Aubameyang, especially for the likes of Aubameyang and Broja. They're going to love taking service from this guy because he provides it. If you guys have seen Milan play and seen the way Portugal have played when he started in them games, you'll see what I mean about him. He's absolutely brilliant, and if we can get him in, I would say get him in personally. But he's not overrated for me. But then again, some people have got their own opinions, and you can't debate that with other people. They've got their own opinions.
Yeah. Again, anybody else on the panel want to talk about this lineup? What do you think we should change anything before we call it a day? And just quickly, it says if City and Real are serious about Leao, serious. That's rhymes or riddle. Maybe we can forget it. There's a chance. Go ahead.
We can't pay them. We can't pay them. Always can.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
We could pay more than Man City and the other clubs. Only Real Madrid are the only club in the world that seems to have a number on Chelsea. Everyone else, if we put an extra
Barcelona
50, whatever. Huh?
Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona.
In the case of Barcelona, it's not necessarily because of the money they have.
Yeah, it's because of the players
Barcelona
play for their childhood team.
Something like that. Go ahead, OG.
If money didn't exist, then Fofana would have went to Barcelona. Wesley Fofana. But the fact that money exists means he's always would have. Even if it wasn't this year or next year, whatever, he would have always been a Chelsea player. It's because of money. If money didn't exist, call Rafinha. He will always go to think whether money exists or not. That's one example. And honestly, it's not looking good for them. They just got beaten by Bayern. But Real Madrid is, if they want a Chelsea player, they could have him. Like, if they want Reece James in 2 years, they could probably take him. There's not much we could do about it. Reece James, the only thing he has, he's English. He might go out.
I don't think they'd be able to take Reece James in 2 years. I think that time he still have like 4 or 5 years left on his contract. I don't think they'll pay that much money. But I understand your point. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they'll just drop whatever 2, 3, 4 years. They could chase Reece James. Probably the only player I see us keeping that's on another level if he keeps, especially if he improves. But I digress, man. I think we should end it on this lackluster team we've picked. Their starting 11. I've got no complaints about it, guys.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else want to say anything about the 11, or we can call it a day? I'll keep it, a copy of it. If we need to make any changes, we will. Let me get what we have in the chat here. Jean Paul says again, Hazard and Leao, so we can rotate their position. I saw J5 and Pulisic before they start to the value. Already, J5 doesn't have that much value. Again, at this point, he has 1 year left on his contract. Probably will end up living on the free if we don't extend. We cannot go around again spending millions upon millions. That's what the new owners are working towards. That's why they're signing a lot of youngsters. So by the time again we'll need them, they'd be again by the time we have need to sign new players in certain position, we'd have young players who are ready to come in and fit in seamlessly. Gonna haunt us in the long run. Yep, I get that. Says please, Chelsea fans, let's save again Hazard's career. I know the move will add more quality to our midfield. Again, it depends on what the current owners want. Yes, people, please keep liking. 42 likes, that's not easy. Yes, I know we should do better, but that's fine. Again, the likes help us reach a wider audience. Like Liam Lane said here, 150 million for James. If anyone is asking, probably more again, but I don't think James. His everything is okay now, except if things are changed. Because once we get 2 years, once he has 2 years left on his contract, we'll be looking to extend his stay at the club, and it depends on how well he is. He's playing at the point at that point. But that's, by the way, again, Barca. Madrid have money and silverware to come. I think that's a good argument. Are you a Chelsea fan? If you're not a Chelsea fan, again, if you're a Barca fan, you can go join our sister channel called Soccer Perspective. There we talk a lot about football overall, not just Chelsea Football Club. And soon we'll be releasing videos on the best lineup for each club, each country that's made it to the World that will be at the World Cup. Thank you very much for that contribution there. Arthur B says Real Madrid will always, but our best and sub Premier League team.
I see him.
Okay. Again, a best buy. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much for that. Anybody on the panel want to say anything about the lineup, or we could just call it a day? Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
What we haven't finished is the people that are alternatives, shall we call them, the rotation.
Yeah, that would be another exercise to plug in the rotating players, just like we did for the other one, right?
But we did it simultaneously before, so I was just wondering.
Oh, we haven't actually plugged in this one. I was waiting for the vote in the chat.
Sure.
Yep, Mount 14%. The closest is Ziyech 32%.
What about Kai? Was Kai put on that or not?
Kai 24%, Pulisic 4%. Oh, wow. Is this hate or people just don't like? I don't think it's hate. I think
it's not confidence, is it?
Headline.
What did you say, OG?
I said maybe it's the Bayern Munich headlines that came out recently saying they want to get him. Maybe a lot of fans are already,
Do you think Tuchel gets that
their love?
No,
I think he does, man.
Yeah, so do I. I think there's a strong possibility if they don't turn it around, Tuchel gets that. But I can see Kai going and being more content playing in his country that he was born and raised and being a star there.
Kai sounds like Kai sounds like an individual who he explores stuff beyond his comfort zone.
Sure.
And he said that if you hear him talk about playing in England, he's happy.
Yeah. He's also really said he is, and he's also said he's looking forward to playing under Graham Potter. As I don't know if you guys saw an interview he did while on international duty. He actually did say he's looking forward to playing under Graham Potter. Listen, what I think we'll remember is he's got 3 years left on his contract. If Bayern Munich want him, they're going to have to pay top dollar to get him, and there's no way I can see them paying that kind of money for him. Even if they ask for a loan move, I cannot see Todd Bowley saying to him, "Go on loan," and then you go for 2 years like they did with Lukaku. Kai Havertz is a different gravy altogether compared to Lukaku for me.
So more than 9 million that we got for Gilmour, yeah?
Sorry? Yeah, bro. Yeah, I cannot. I love it. I cannot for the life of me, though, in general, just seeing Chelsea say to Bayern Munich, yeah, you can have him. Even if Thomas Tuchel ends up going to Bayern Munich as their manager, say, it doesn't matter. He's probably going
to... the fact that Potter started him in the first game tells you a lot.
Speaks volumes.
It tells you how much he rates the player, yeah. And as I said, they're going to pay top money for him.
If we sell him in today's market, gentlemen, I think, honestly, he should go for, 8 digits, over 100 million. I think he's worth it.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'll take 8. I'll take 6, 7.
We bought him for 72 or something.
Here's the thing. I don't think the club wouldn't even entertain selling him right now.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
No, they will not. I don't think so. Let me catch up on the chat so again we can call it a day. Luis Garcia says again, if Hazard undertook, that's you. Every time you find a player, plug it into that same sentence and say Tuchel played them. In a wing back position. Thank you very much for that question. It was I'm serious. That's what Luis Garcia does every day. Even on videos, on comments, it's the same sentence. Swap up names, add a new player name. Says if he comes, he said there's one that's about Zidane. If Zidane plays under Tuchel, he play him in the wing back position. I'm not joking, really. That's what he does. Yeah. Tuchel gets any job he wants. That's the truth. And soon, I think the next one will be Bayern. Things aren't looking good for Nagelsmann at this point. This guy is hilarious.
What was it happened? Oh, was he singing a song? Was he? Was that?
No, just look at the name.
Christian Pulisic.
Douche move.
I haven't seen that one before. I have to be honest. Here we have again singing "Bye Bye Miss America" again by Chelsea to the I'm not sure again. I'm not sure I get that again.
It's the song.
Which is I believe. What?
Sorry, bro. You know the song "Bye Bye Miss American Pie"? He's literally changing it to something else. He's doing his own version.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to understand whether it's a beat. Yeah, leave Glenn alone. That's all he does. I believe again Hazard has a lot of fight left in him. He he's a Capricorn like me. So I know his mentality. Hazard, Sterling, Aubameyang would be again bad news for any defenders. Okay, we'll see. Hopefully the club wants him. I want to implore our owners to stop talking about a Chelsea project in the media. I realize anytime the man faces a press, it's always it's always make things difficult for us in times of transfer. And that I don't know if that's the case. Hazard is his hazardous thing to CFC. Okay, thank you for that one there. Too bad that Mount and Kai are different players. If they were fused into one, that would probably be a good pick, right? Yeah, given that now you'd have aggression, a lot of pressing and all that. I think that's a delicious comment right there. I am a Madrid fan. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. But welcome to the channel. If you can subscribe here too, and also again go check out the sister channel. There we talk about every football club. We're still looking for a rep of Real Madrid, a rep for Barcelona. We have reps for Barcelona, but in the chat, not on the panel. It's called Soccer Perspective. Be sure to subscribe there. I look forward to seeing you. Shows will start flowing in that channel soon. It will have a rhythm soon. Better off. Forget some spaces, the lads. Yep. Let me see anything else here. Smash the like button. Yes, keep liking it. We'll have 44 likes. If we can get it to 50, again, we're about to round up. That's fine. If not, that's still great. Dragon Balls and fish. Kyson.
The Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's creative. Seriously creative.
You know about the Matera earrings.
Yeah, Kyson Havout. I think that's brilliant, actually. Look at it here. Kyson Havout. I like it. Yeah, again, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate everybody that's found time, to be on the panel. Again, it's been a brilliant discussion as usual. The next session, I think, we'll concentrate in picking the rotating players because we have a big team. Again, if you haven't liked the video, also do subscribe to the channel. I cannot thank you guys enough. Would love to see Mace and Kai do the dance again. I get it. again, a kinky song. Oh, it's been a while. How are you doing? I haven't seen you. I hope you're good. Again, thank you very much, guys. Again, I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you to all the mods in the chat. I'm already tired because I thought that I had cold. I thought it gone. It came back again, but I think it'll be fine again. The itchy throat is a sign that it's coming. So I'm taking something to stop it from materializing and fooling. So thank you, guys. Again, I hope to see you guys soon for another show. Thank you. God bless us all, and bye.
Cheers.
Peace, everyone.